welcome to Mindshock for another edition of Anti-Flat Earth Grifters Exposed, where we go over the Dunning-Kruger stylings of some of these anti-Flat Earth grifters. Hopefully everybody's seen the previous two installments. We'll be picking up right where we left off in the masterful Robot Polisher's edit of some of these goofs melting down. I mean, we have Craig of Fight the Flat Earth, legendary anti-Flat Earth grifter. Legendary. I mean, his fallacy stacking combinations are unrivaled. I mean, this guy is setting world records. I mean, he went 11 plus fallacies in a single statement. I mean, who else can do that? I mean, Soy Lodge can't do that. McToon can't do that. Who else can stack fallacies as high as Craig and combo them? Craig is a truly unique individual. We went over McToon and his Dunning-Kruger stylings and all of the self-loathing and shame in his eyes. I proposed a new theory that McToon is actually the good guy. Because, I mean, how hard is it to get every single question on a test completely wrong? I mean, not even accidentally getting a few correctly. Clearly, you're sending a message. Clearly, you're sending a message. Now, I don't know if his McToon's family was threatened or what the deal is. He sold his soul. But I think he feels bad for doing it. And there's some kind of help me message in his videos because, I mean, nobody can debate this badly. I mean, I don't know if it's possible. Again, I mean, maybe I'm appealing to incredulity myself. Maybe I'm falling for the appeal to incredulity to logical fallacy. But it seems to me, I'm going with the theory that McToon was possibly MK Ultra'd, the programming cracked, and this is all a cry for help. And just the shame in his eyes is just a dead giveaway on everything he said. So, and then then we have Soy Lodge, which is a very unique individual as well. I mean, this guy's just brain dead. I mean, there's really not much that could be said here. I mean, this is just a brain dead individual. There's just nothing getting through. And we'll be getting into this and plenty more in another thrilling edition of Anti-Flat Earth Grifters Exposed. If you want to help logic and reason return to a world where they're quickly going extinct, as is evident by the fact that any of these goofs have even one subscriber. I mean, that's clearly evident that it's going extinct. They have a lot more than one. You can donate to our PayPal. Just check the link in the description. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell for notifications. If the notifications are just not coming through, just like and comment and share more videos. You could also support the channel by becoming a YouTube member right here on YouTube. And you can also check us out on Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, and Patreon. Patreon's a good priority for case topic, logical analysis, co-podcast requests. You could also be a guest in the podcast depending on your tier. Questions, comments, theories, thoughts, suggestions, rebuttals, debunkings of any kind. Leave them in the comment section, or if you are with us live, I will try to get to most of the comments and questions in the chat. So we got Benny Boy in here. Adam is apologizing for McLooney and Soy Lodge as an American. Benny Boy says, as a Brit, I feel I should apologize for Craig. McNeil. Who's McNeil? I don't know who McNeil is. Is Fight the Flat Earth Craig McNeil? That's one person. Simon. Yeah, that's another anti-Flat Earth grifter. I mean, that guy's kind of a boring kind of goof, though. I mean, at least Craig's entertaining. Dave McKeegan, I mean, that's another guy. I mean, that's bottom of the barrel for McKeegan. I mean, he's not even entertaining with his Dunning-Kruger stylings. And Mr. Sensible, I have no idea who that is. I mean, I think Craig is underappreciated. I mean, who could stack fallacies this high? I mean, I really do think the Flat Earthers just do not appreciate Craig's mastery of comedy. Now, I don't know what his deal is with his fetish for humiliating himself. I mean, it's just some kind of fetish. He seems to genuinely enjoy it, whereas McToon seems to have nothing but shame for grifting like this. And Soy Lodge just clueless and triggered across the board. But Craig seems to get genuine joy from humiliating himself, for creating so many more flat earthers than any flat earther. He seems to get genuine joy from demonstrating he can't comprehend anything, and all he can do is spam fallacies, unless, of course, again, he's just this brilliant actor who can go full retard. I mean, maybe he was just too damn good for Hollywood. Flat Oz says, fight the flat earth is a closet homo. Well, did he ever specify whether his alleged wife was human or not, though? I don't know if he ever specified. I mean, he did demonstrate that he could tie his own shoes. I mean, look at the entertainment value that Craig provides all of us. I mean, what kind of goof would actually do that? Like, think about the level of insecurity, narcissism, just genuine mental health issues one must be suffering from to feel the need to prove they could tie their own shoes. And we don't know if somebody was like right off camera helping Craig to remind him how to do it, or demonstrating how to tie, like right behind the camera. We don't know the situation. Craig obviously did not provide any kind of behind the scenes cameras. Benny Boy says Craig is a criminal record after going full ham at one of his neighbors over a bicycle. Is there a video? Oh, wow. Flat Oz says he sucker punched the poor fella and reckons he went all She-Hulk on him afterwards. More like kicked him while he was down. Interesting. Flat Oz says, fingers crossed he goes on a new med and debates Witsit again. He nearly died last time that happened. We're going to be examining some of that. Benny Boy says, I think Jaren actually tried to talk him out of doing that and told him to get some more research into alternative medicine regarding his leg. Welcome, Jeff, Joyce, Rethink Inc. Little Star. Little Star says, Soy Lodge called me an idiot because I had said that I didn't know the shape of the Earth for sure. I triggered him. It was too easy. He gets triggered at the drop of a hat. I mean, think about the... Obviously, Soy Lodge is a mental midget, but he's an emotional midget as well. I mean, he said Witsit broke him by smirking a few times. Like, Soy Lodge had a complete meltdown projecting and just humiliating himself because Witsit smirked a few times. Meanwhile, he couldn't stop fondling the microphone. He couldn't stop, like, typing on the computer and trying to double-check everything Witsit was saying because he didn't understand any of it. And he still didn't understand after he looked it up. So then he went into full meltdown mode, talking about how Witsit can't control his facial expressions from smirking while this goof is spiraling. I mean, it was hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Flat Oz says, I have a picture of his wife, but LOL, I can't believe you read that. I try to get to all of them. I don't see all of them sometimes. YouTube also has some kind of weird shadow banning censoring, so some of the comments don't show up. You can try to type them possibly with certain words with extra dashes or spaces or whatever. Texas rules in the chat with, is that an ultimate warrior avatar? That's awesome. Could the Earth be not flat or round? Anything's possible. It's not far from false dichotomies. I actually threw out a theory that if there's an intelligent designer and we're all living in some kind of holographic simulation, they switch the world. They switch the shape of the Earth from flat to globe, back and forth, just to watch people spiral. That's why a lot of these observations are non-consistent. Or a different shape, whatever. Kiss the Sky. Haven't seen Kiss the Sky in a while. Where you been? And the robot polisher himself in the chat. The legend himself. We're going to be picking up where we left off last time on your compilation video of all these meltdowns. Robot polisher said, Witsit broke Soy Lodge like Caleb broke Craig. That was hilarious. That was hilarious. I mean, Caleb breaking Craig is what necessitated a whole new logical analysis system that we spent months on Mindshock. Okay, so yeah, let's pick up the video here. Okay, just double check everybody in the chat that you can hear it.
Because I wouldn't admit I was lying if I'm not lying.
Would you like to admit you were wrong?
No.
So you are a liar.
Wait till the video that I bring out that shows exactly why I wasn't wrong. You know, you can wait for the video about how wrong you were about everything that you said. If you want to keep waffling about nonsense that you don't understand, and neither does anybody else here, that's fine. Or what's going on about relativity, which you don't understand, and no one here understands. And neither of us really know what we're talking about.
You gotta love how hilarious, like how triggered is Craig that he has to pretend. So he knows he doesn't know what he's talking about, but he has to pretend everybody else doesn't know what they're talking about either to make himself feel better about his own mental deficiency. I mean, look at this guy's face. I mean, you can see the mental deficiency written all over this goof's face. But his narcissism is so extreme, he can't handle not knowing what he's talking about. So even when it's very clear he doesn't know what he's talking about, he has to pretend no one else knows what they're talking about either. I mean, have we seen this cope before? I think this is an original cope. Has anybody actually went for that cope in Flat Earth Debate before? Jeff says Craig is a one-man Waffle House. Has anybody gone for that cope where they admitted that they didn't know what they were talking about, but they have to pretend the other person doesn't either? Big Pine Sailing says, well, there's also that other thing that he most likely got boosted 3 or more times. Well, hopefully he got saline, because, I mean, I don't know. You guys might not like this, but I think the world is a more hilarious and fun place with Craig in it. Call me crazy. But, yeah, I think the world is a more entertaining place with Craig in it, and obviously I wouldn't wish anything bad happen on anybody, especially individuals that aren't harming people. I mean, if he is harming people, he harmed his neighbor, whatever. If his neighbor wants to beat him up and get revenge, whatever. But other than that, like, yeah, no, I don't. I hope, I wish Craig all the best with his health issues, and I hope he continues to entertain us all for a very long time. Jevon says his doctor said no more Whitson.
Doctor,
how do you know
me
the boss
and
doesn't know what he's
hands
talking
here.
about?
Okay, so
Brian,
the
stop
fact that
helping.
you don't understand it has no bearing on the fact that I actually have researched it and read what Einstein said.
Yeah, but
and
you
that
still
you
don't
have
understand
it. Okay?
You don't understand
You don't
it at all.
know that. How do you
think
know if I have an
understand it,
inaccurate
but you really
understanding
don't.
if you don't understand it?
I'm saying
It's
that
an
you're not right, but
unfounded-
I don't have the full answers to explain why right now.
So you know I'm wrong, but you don't know why.
No,
So
I know
I got a
you're
simple
wrong.
question.
I just don't have
That's
the
what I
ability to
heard.
succinctly answer what I'm saying is that your conclusion and the way you've reached your conclusion is wrong. And I'm going to find the words and the way to succinctly explain why. I have professors from Edinburgh University telling me you are wrong.
So the world-renowned Emory University, where's that ranked? Like, if we're gonna appeal to authority, let's at least do it accurately. I mean, where does Emory University rank among the best university? I mean, do we have, let's see, World University Rankings? Let's see here. 2024. Wow, Oxford is number one. Oxford beat out both Stanford and MIT. Oxford University is the top dog university. See, then it's Stanford, Massachusetts. Then number 4 is Harvard. Number 5 is University of Cambridge. Number 6 is Princeton. Number 7 is California Institute of Technology. Number 8 is Imperial College London. Huh. I'm not even sure if I've heard of Imperial College London. Flatless says, wasn't Oxford started by the Jesuits? That's a great question, as well as Oxford Dictionary. We got to look into that. But let's just, I'm just curious, because if we're gonna appeal to authority, let's at least do that. Let's at least execute the fallacy properly. I mean, come on, if you do something, do it right. If we're going for fallacies, let's do it right. So, Imperial College of London, number 8, and then number 9 is University of California, Berkeley. Number 10 is Yale. Number 11 is ETH Zurich. Number 12 is Tsinghua University in China. Never heard of it. Number 13, University of Chicago, getting some love. Number 14, Peking University. Number 15, Johns Hopkins University. Number 16, University of Pennsylvania. University of Pennsylvania beat out Columbia University. That's interesting. I mean, this is worldwide rankings using worldwide metrics. Number 17 is Columbia. Number 18, University of California, LA. Number 19, National University of Singapore. That's actually not that surprising. I mean, Singapore is a powerhouse in terms of emerging country. I mean, high standard of living. Just really, really high level country. A lot of millionaires there. High level education. Number 20, Cornell. Number 21, University of Toronto, or Toronto, as they say it. 22, UCL in the UK. Number 23, University of Michigan, Ann Arbor. Number 24, Carnegie Mellon University. Number 25, University of Washington. Number 26, Duke University. Number 27, NYU. They seem to have dropped in the rankings. They used to be a top-ranked university at one point. 28, Northwestern. 29, University of Tokyo, Japan. 30, University of Edinburgh. Oh, they actually, okay, they're tied. 30, 31 are tied. University of Edinburgh and Technical University of Munich, Germany. 32 is Nanyang Tech University in Singapore. 33 is the École Polytechnique Fédérale Lausanne in Switzerland. 34, University of California, San Diego. 35, University of Hong Kong. 36, Georgia Institute of Technology. 37, University of Melbourne. 38, another tie here. 38 and 39 are tied. King's College London and LMU Munich. 40 is Paris Sciences et Lettres, PSL Research University of Paris. Number 41, University of British Columbia. 42, University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. 43, Shanghai Jiao Tong University. 44, Fudan University in China. 45, KU Leuven in Belgium. 46, London School of Economics and Political Science. 47, Universität Heidelberg, Germany. 48, Delft University of Technology in the Netherlands. 49, McGill University in Canada. 50, Karolinska Institute in Sweden. Now we have 51, University of Manchester, UK. 52, University of Texas in Austin. 53, Chinese University of Hong Kong. 54, Monash University in Australia. 55, there's a tie. 55, 56 are tied. Kyoto University, Japan, and Zhejiang University, China. 57 is University of Science and Tech of China. 58, Université Paris-Saclay in France. 59, University of California, Davis. 60, University of Sydney, Australia. 61, University of Amsterdam. 62, Seoul National University in South Korea. 63, University of Wisconsin-Madison. 64 and 65 are three-way tie. 64 to 66 are all tied. Brown University in the U.S., Hong Kong University of Science and Technology, Hong Kong, and Wageningen University in Research in Netherlands. 67 is the Australian National University in Australia. 68, Washington University in St. Louis, U.S. 69, University of California, Santa Barbara. 70, isn't that also the number one party school in the U.S.? Wait. Hold on a second. Let me double check that. The 69th ranked university in the world, is that also the number one party school? Let's double check. The top party schools in the United States. I read somewhere that it was Santa Barbara. Oh, wow. It is wow. Oh, wow, that is true. Number 2 is Florida State. Number 3 is Tulane University in New Orleans, Louisiana. I did not know that. And then number 4 is the University of Alabama. Number 5, Syracuse. Number 6, University of Georgia. And number 7, University of Wisconsin. That's kind of curious. Who else finds it curious that the 69th ranked university in the world is the number 1 party school in the U.S.? Does anybody else find that amusing? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Okay, but we still have it. I mean, is Emory even top 100? I'm going to stop naming them because it's going to take forever. But if we're going to appeal to authority, he's appealing to some kind of non-top university professors. Let me just skip through here. It's not top 75. It looks like it is not even top 100. Okay, let me go in alphabetical order. I'm going to try to get the number that it is. It's not letting me search it. So apparently it is not top 100. Oh, okay, hold on. Let's see what we got here. What is going on? Website started glitching out. This is timeshighereducation.com. So there's 2,671 ranked universities. That's the top that they ranked. Okay, so let me search Emory in here and see what number. Oh, it is. Oh wow, it actually is pretty close to top 100. It's a three-way tie for the 106th best university. So not even top 100. They're telling Craig that Whitsitt is wrong, even though Craig doesn't even understand what Whitsitt is saying in order to relay that to the professor. And they couldn't tell Craig why it was wrong. Or they did, but Craig was too dumb to either comprehend and repeat it. But, okay, so... so this non-top 100 university professors are telling Whitsitt that he's wrong. Interesting. Very interesting.
No point sitting here with you going round in circles about relativity when neither of us have the proper knowledge to make this discussion work. Right?
I know 100 times more about this than you, and you want to keep bundling me in with your ignorance.
Neither of us have enough knowledge for this conversation, and that is a
keep
fact.
saying it.
I will come back to this when both of us have enough knowledge for the conversation. Right now, neither of us do. Simple as that.
How can you understand relativity if you can't even understand the difference between rotation and orbit?
Dude, orbit is a rotation.
No.
No, rotate is to spin, turn, or revolve.
Whitsitt, you clearly just had the difference explained to you.
Right, Michelson Morley was not set up.
You have a
Right,
problem.
Michelson Morley.
They take it too literal. They can't just have any sort of thought process for themselves to just understand that that's exactly what you fucking.
Yeah, they have to
Well,
take
it's the
that
same thing.
pedantically.
The orbit is rotation, right? Like he just
No,
read the
it's
definition.
not.
Okay, well, look, hey, Connell, since you're so
rotates.
smart, can you answer my question?
Okay,
Does the Earth revolve around the sun? Yes or no?
Yes.
Rotate is to spin, turn, or revolve. Earth does not rotate around the sun. It orbits or revolves. A rotation is not a revolution. Rotate is to spin, turn, or revolve. Whitsitt right when he says the Earth revolves around the sun. He's wrong when it says it rotates around the sun. There's a difference between
So when I cite
revolution
NASA
and
saying the
rotation.
Earth rotates around the sun, you all admit you're wrong, or are you going to say NASA's wrong?
Well, NASA would
There are
be using
two-
the wrong word in that case.
You just read the definition that the Earth revolves around
Yeah.
the sun, and then you read the definition of rotate, and it says revolves in the definition that you read.
No,
okay?
I
So
didn't
it is
say
the-
that. Rotate is to spin, turn, or revolve.
So, quick update. Craig did volunteer to take to debate on the side of the globe on Mindshock. But he was so clueless he didn't understand what the quiz would be. So he thought it would be like a written quiz or some kind of online quiz you have to take and get some kind of score, and then if you scored high enough you'd get to debate, even though I clearly explained it. I mean, it's clearly in the breakdown for the time bracket of the format of the debate that the quiz is within the debate format with the time breakdown. But he doesn't even have the English comprehension level to understand that the quiz is part of the debate. How is he going to pass the quiz? I mean, I obviously I didn't tell him that he would be allowed to even take the quiz because, I mean, I don't know. I guess I'll leave it to everybody here whether they want to see Craig attempt to pass the quiz in order to even try to debate. And then Tsutsaka was the only other individual who's willing to defend the globe on Mindshock moderated debate without logical fallacies allowed. So out of all of the globers out there, I posted the format on the subreddit Flat Earth, which it's not actually a Flat Earth subreddit. It's a subreddit where all these Dunning-Kruger goofs with fetishes for humiliating themselves, they go there to laugh at Flat Earth concepts while not understanding the Flat Earth concept or the Globe Earth concept. Like, they don't understand the scientism either. I mean, they're so dumb, they don't even understand the basic definitions of words like logic, science. They don't know what any of those words mean. And then they just go there to humiliate themselves. They have almost 100,000 users. I don't know how many of those are bots or whatever. But not a single taker. There was not a single individual who was willing to take a first grade English comprehension and logic quiz and do a debate without fallacies. But you gotta hand it to Craig. Craig did volunteer. Craig said he was willing to debate on Mindshock in a moderated debate on the subject, but he didn't understand. It's kind of funny. He didn't comprehend how this quiz worked. Hello, Sarah, Heracles, Nominal, DJ Curious, Justin Johnson getting in here. Yeah, so it's kind of funny. Do you guys want to see the screenshot of our conversation? I could put it on the screen if you guys want. Do you guys want to see that? Do you guys want to see on the screen of Craig volunteering to debate on Mindshock but not comprehending the quiz? Okay, Joyce says yes, so okay. Let me pull it up. I mean, I was actually a little bit shocked that he's that deficient in basic English that... Oh wow, hold on. I'm going through the comments, and just so everybody knows, Witsit is shadow banned and censored. I have to manually go into spam in order to get Witsit's comments to show up. Because he just commented, or that's, yeah, he commented anti-flat Earth grifters, yeah. So they're clearly shadow banning a lot of people. Okay, hold on. Yeah, let me get the... I want to put the comments up regarding Craig. Okay, hold on here. Okay, so this is in the community tab. He responded here. So let's go through it. Just give me a second. I'll screenshot it and put it on the screen. But like I said, I don't think Craig gets enough love from the flat earthers, because the entertainment value Craig provides, I mean, it's really something unique. It's really something unique. If he ever moves on from humiliating himself online as like a full profession, I think a lot of hilarity will be lost. A lot of hilarity will be lost. Okay, so here is our little convo earlier. So he says, sure, if you're not scared to have me. I respond, you really think you can pass the intro quiz? If you have someone in your earpiece walk you through it, you're really not going to rage quit when you're not allowed to keep talking while committing fallacies. He responds, I never have someone in my earpiece. I mean, we've definitely seen some kind of weird situations with an earpiece. I mean, maybe that's a hearing aid, I don't know, but there's definitely something weird on some of those videos. You know you don't have a clue about fallacies, right? Dude, I'll do whatever. I'd love to see try correct me. I've never rage quit anything in my life. He's too busy rage participating. What's this intro quiz then, champ? My response: if you were at least on a first grade English comprehension level, you would know what the intro quiz was. I clearly explained it. Here, let me do the screenshot of the Okay, so I guess he didn't read the other post, because this one was, is anyone willing to debate on the side of the heliocentric globe on Mindshock? We have a few willing to represent the flat Earth. So, okay, maybe he didn't bother to actually look at the format. I mean, I guess that's possible. He doesn't know how to use, even though he's responding in the community tab, perhaps he doesn't really know how to use the community tab. I don't know. I asked what the intro quiz is, but where is it? How do I access it? I mean, it's literally a few posts down on the community tab that it's part of the... that it's part of it. I say it will be live. I will ask simple questions. Webster's Dictionary and Britannica Encyclopedia will be on screen to verify if your answers are correct regarding basic logic, basic definitions, etc. So it's nothing to do with me. It's Webster's Dictionary and Britannica. He responds, fine, I'm just amazed you think you're able to test people. As if it's my test. Like, asking someone a definition of the word while having the definition on the screen from Webster's Dictionary, he's hallucinating that that's somehow my metric for the definition. I mean, again, like I said, Craig is a unique individual. I think we all need to show him more appreciation for his Dunning-Kruger stylings. I mean, the amount of comedy he brings, the amount of comedic value he brings to the table with his English and scientific illiteracy and his Dunning-Kruger spirals. I mean, again, like, how many other people are this entertaining in their spiraling and in their cluelessness? Big Pine Sailing says, what's funny is that he thinks you would want him on, but doesn't realize he's not capable of qualifying. Yes, I mean, he's asking what time. Yeah, as if, I mean, normally I wouldn't waste my time, but here's the thing. He would provide some comedic value in attempting to qualify during the intro quiz, and then his meltdown at not being able to pass the intro quiz might be hilarious. It might be worth it to try to have him pass. Robot Polisher says, Craig leaving the scene would feel like when Brian Stelter left CNN. I'd be crushed. Oh, man. Yeah, he definitely wouldn't be able to steel man any position. I mean, it would be such a train wreck, but it would be funny. I mean, I don't know if I want that to be the first debate, though. I mean, I would consider allowing him to try to pass the intro quiz. If everybody wants to see that, him Snake in the chat here, if everybody wants to see that, then I will let him attempt to debate. Oh, Witsit Gets It is in here as well. Yeah, Witsit, I'm sure Witsit already knows, but all of most of the comments I see from Witsit are going to spam. So YouTube, and I'm sure mine are too on most channels. YouTube definitely flagged a lot of accounts for shadow banning and censoring. And people in the chat too, like I've noticed, even some longtime posters, sometimes their posts don't show up. And they do follow-up posts in the context of missing posts. I did not delete any of those. I don't delete any of it. I put, the only people I put in timeout are maybe Tsutsaka or a couple of random goofs. But yeah, so I usually... it should show up, but it doesn't. Les Xylophone, how do I get in contact with Bruce? Mindshock@yahoo.com. I was actually looking this up earlier, people talking about Antarctica in the chat. Anta, A-N-T-A-H in Sanskrit means to surround. or encircle? How many people find that curious? Anta means to surround or encircle in Sanskrit. Yeah, if they could launch, a hot air balloon in Antarctica going high enough to see if Antarctica is truly an island continent would be interesting. I mean, I don't know what the visibility... Well, with infrared. It would probably have to have infrared, but would be curious. Oh, the legendary John Thor. We got the legendary John Thor in the chat here as well. Author of many incredible supercuts that are also hilarious. I mean, think about it, though. I mean, isn't Craig the subject of so many of these supercuts? It would definitely be a less entertaining... If Craig ever left Flat vs. Globe Earth, yeah, there'd be a lot less entertainment to go around. So, yeah, I think I will allow Craig to attempt to qualify to debate, but not on the first one. I mean, we're not going to have a train. The first one should... We really got to try to actually make a moderated debate without logical fallacies allowed. We need to try to get people on it that can actually do it. Or at least not be a complete train wreck. I mean, has Craig ever had any debate that wasn't a complete train wreck? So, I mean, I would like... Maybe it's too much to ask for in the subject of Flat versus Globe Earth. Maybe it's too much to ask for, but I would like to have a non-train wreck first debate. Then we can have people like Craig and Tsutsaka attempt to qualify with the intro quiz. Yeah, Big Pine Sailing agrees. Do a real one first, please. Yeah, we just gotta find somebody on the globe side that's willing to enter a debate knowing that logical fallacies will not be allowed. That will be a flag on the play. You cannot continue past the logical fallacy. Isn't it kind of weird, though? There are no globe earthers that are willing to enter a debate where fallacies are not allowed. I mean, does anybody find that funny? I mean, there's got to be somebody. I mean, obviously Craig, but Craig has a fetish for humiliating himself, so that's, you know, I mean, that doesn't really mean much. Same thing with Tsutsaka, so. Justin Johnson says, you're asking for an impossibility of a global to defend without being flayed. No, I'm not talking about whether it's actually going to happen. I'm talking about the willingness of a globe earther to be willing to attempt to debate without fallacies. Because in all these other debates, they freely use fallacies to justify positions. I'm talking about a globe earther willing to attempt to not use, because a lot of times they don't even, since they don't understand fallacies, like Craig doesn't even understand what a fallacy is unless he's acting, they don't know that they're being fallacious. I'm asking for globe earthers to attempt to defend their position without using fallacies. I'm not saying they're going to be able to do it. Maybe they will, maybe they will. I'm not saying they're going to be able to do it. I'm just talking about the willingness to attempt. When they know the rules ahead of time do not allow fallacies.
Maybe you haven't heard me properly because you can't rotate around another body.
Why does your definition of rotation that even you read off have the word revolve in it?
It didn't.
Read again then.
Rotate is to spin, turn,
or revolve.
Right? That rotate, revolve, different things there, okay?
You just said rotate is to spin, turn, or revolve. You use the words differently so that it's not confusing.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. so that we're not confused.
Dude, I swear to you, you actually need to get in a boxing ring or something.
Shut the
because
fuck
you
up
think
and just.
you can disrespect.
I'm trying to move the conversation forward. Can we all just agree? Can we all just agree? Can we all just agree? Right.
Like a giant teddy bear.
Again, can we all just agree very simply to say the Earth rotates around its axis but revolves around the sun? If we agree that, we can just move forward.
Interrupt me again.
Right.
Okay.
If we agree that, we can move forward. Can we agree that? Yes or no?
This is insane.
Right.
The point is,
I'm trying to move the conversation forward. Can we agree that? Yes or no?
For convenience.
Can we agree that? Yes or no?
Revolves around the sun.
Shut up! Let Austin respond for fuck's sake.
So, here's the thing. You might lose a debate about relativity, but that in no way debunks the fact that the Earth is a globe.
Prior to holding a justified belief, one must fully understand what that belief is that they're going to internalize and accept. And they actually don't know. And he just now openly admitted he doesn't know. But you'll see his arrogance and ego come out in the second side of his mouth, where he then says, no, you're an idiot. You don't understand anything about relativity. You're wrong. I'm going to make a video about how you're so wrong. And then you're like, wait, what am I wrong about? Oh, I don't understand anything about relativity.
I've actually had people that support him reach out and say, like, please don't debate him anymore because he can't prevent himself from getting way too worked up and it's too dangerous.
It's too dangerous. Oh, man. Okay, Witsit, I have to ask you in the chat. Do you believe Craig is acting? And I'd also like your opinion. Did you hear I don't know if you were here for the Flat Earth Grifters Exposed Part 2. Did you hear my take on McToon? Because I think McToon's the good guy, and I think he's giving it away by arguing so poorly. It's like a wink wink. And the shame written all over his face. I don't know. I'm not saying somebody kidnapped his family or whatever and is holding them hostage, but if they had, what kind of look would we expect to have on his face if he was being forced to do this? So, Witsit, do you get the impression that Craig is acting? I mean, I go back and forth on this. I think it's hard to tell. I forgot who in the chat was bringing this up. Was it Justin Johnson talking about, like, McToon, getting every single answer wrong on the test? And not just, like, a little bit mixed wrong, but it's almost like intentionally answering as wrong as possible. Like, trying to really score a 0. Because it's hard to get a perfect 0. I mean, I don't care how dumb you are, you're going to accidentally get some questions correct. I mean, scoring a perfect 0, especially with essay questions. So yeah, I'm curious as to, I don't think Austin's chimed in here on the subject of Craig acting before, because I think Too Offended said that he believes Craig is acting, if I remember correctly. I don't know if Too Offended isn't here right now. Too Offended actually is willing to debate on the Flat Earth side on Mindshock. I know he has debated Craig before. So, Witsit, if you heard that, do you believe Craig is acting? And what do you think of McToon, all the shame written over McToon's face? Did Witsit debate McToon? I think they did, right? At least one. It's kind of hard to keep track of all the debates. DJ Curious says, Kidnappers, the Flat Earth movie's gonna be a thriller. Wow, Witsit says, no, I don't think Fight the Flat Earth is acting. Legitimately retarded. He's so dishonest, it can be confused for acting. Well, that's the thing. Like, if he is this incredible actor, like better than anybody in Hollywood, he's able to go full retard convincingly. I mean, I don't know if we've ever seen anybody do that, but... So Witsit does not think Craig is acting. Very interesting. It's just dishonesty. I mean, it's kind of funny, though, because watching his expressions as he literally reads the definition and then denies that the word revolve is in the definition that he just read. I think Austin made him read it twice, and he was still denying. Christopher Allen says, I think he's retarded. Flat Oz says he's grifting. Well, obviously he's grifting, but is he acting while grifting, or is he genuinely mentally disabled while grifting? Here, we got a lot of big time flat earthers in the chat. Let me do a poll. I think I did one before, but I'll do another one here. Witsit says, if that man is acting, he puts Leo to shame. Well, yeah, no. Obviously, it's very convincing. Yeah. If he's acting, he's an all-time great. Yes. I just don't want to rule that out because I don't know. Also, can't rock with McToon being the good guy. He has slandered me way too much. Okay, yeah, I didn't really address the slander side of it. I was mostly looking at his facial expressions and his micro expressions and the shame in his eyes while he's trying to make scientific arguments. I mean, the slander is definitely an issue. Would he be doing that? Unless that's part of the script and the agenda and he did it against his will. Again, I'm not saying that's the case. I'm saying if it's the case, what kind of micro expressions would we expect to see in that situation? Flat Oz says, oh no, he's legit retarded. He means everything he says. So it's 62% say he's not acting. So 33% say he is acting full retard. Well, he's definitely if he's acting, he's definitely he's an all-time great, no question. I mean, it can be hard to tell though because who would? Okay, so if he's not acting and he just has this, well, whether he's acting or not, he seems to genuinely have a fetish for humiliating himself. Adam says he ain't acting. If there is some kind of CIA shill program to promote Flat Earth, if there's a CIA PSYOP to promote Flat Earth and increase Flat Earth membership by getting shills to intentionally argue as badly as possible to increase the amount of Flat Earthers for destabilization and rolling out some kind of New World Order as a result of civil war from people not trusting the government. I mean, Flat Earth is one of the quickest ways to not trust any aspect of government, right? I mean, it kind of used to be moon landing, I guess, but Flat Earth is way more extreme. Rethink Inc. says he has zero clue how stupid he makes himself look. He thinks he's a genius. Stupid people don't know they're stupid. Okay, that's correct about obviously that's the Dunning-Kruger effect, one aspect of it. On one end of the spectrum, the people that are too incompetent to understand their incompetence. However, I did pick up Duper's delight on Craig multiple times, where it seems like he enjoys humiliating himself. Like, there's other people, like, I mean, I really can't stomach McKeegan that long, but for McKeegan, like, I don't think I've seen Duper's delight on McKeegan. Craig seems to get genuine joy from humiliating himself. That doesn't necessarily mean he's acting or not acting. I mean, but Joyce says, yes, Mindshock, I have seen Craig smile that smile. Yeah, it's not that rare. It wasn't just once or twice. He clearly has Duper's delight whenever he's kind of caught in an argument and made to look stupid. Like, he doesn't have Duper's delight when he's just regurgitating whatever scientism dogma, like attempting to educate people or his followers or whatever. He doesn't have Duper's delight there. He has Duper's delight when he gets caught and exposed in being wrong. And it's almost like he enjoys being humiliated. Okay, so not quite a blowout. 7% too triggered to answer, 62% not acting, 31% acting. Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I think it's a little tough to tell, but let's continue here.
Literally.
I'm an angry person. I struggle to control my temper, my anxiety, my stress levels. Very much so. Very much like Bruce Banner.
I am always angry.
So that's the funniest part. I was like, I'm trying to be nice to him.
I know he had a heart problem the last time y'all tried to debate. Are you telling me right now, like, hang on, is Robot Polisher down there? Are you recording this, buddy? Are you telling me that people who know him have reached out to you and told you that it's like a danger to his life if he debates you because he gets too late? Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah. I mean,
you think he would be a little bit more humble in his approach? Like, you might die from trying to debate flat earthers. You think you might take it down a notch?
Oh, so you're acting like a child?
Yeah.
You're gonna interrupt me again because you're getting.
Okay, so before we get to Soy Lodge here, so finishing up with Craig here, Woodsit said, I think they spin it as trolling the stupid flat earthers, so the laughter is a defense mechanism to push that narrative. I do see the possibility of your point. Wild if true, I'd just tip my hat. Yeah, well, here's the thing. Craig is such an outlier. Again, I'm not saying he's acting. I'm saying it's hard to tell with 100% certainty just because of how extreme Craig is. Like, everything with the meltdowns, and that might all be genuine. Like, all of his mental health issues, I'm not saying those aren't genuine. I mean, a lot of brilliant actors have mental health issues. I mean, some would say that's related because they don't even know who they are. But Rethink says Craig has a bit of sociopath in him. Yeah, he does seem to have some sociopathic and psychopathic tendencies. Clearly psychological issues of many kinds. He's just such an outlier. Like, that, I mean, okay. So, Witsit, let me ask you this. So, I don't know if you remember I did a couple podcasts where we had to refine the entire Mindshock logical analysis system because of Craig. Craig, I believe, committed 11 fallacies, or even more, in a single statement. I mean, the next level record is like, what, 7 maybe? I mean, nothing close to 11. And I think there were multiple arguments he used where he had like 7, 8, 9, and 11 fallacies at once. I mean, so where would that put him on the spectrum? So he's either like, so the other thing is, can he really be that mentally disabled? Because he's talking relatively fast. So unlike Soy Lodge, I mean, his mental disability is so severe. I am not alleging he's acting. I mean, maybe he is, but it doesn't seem like he is. There's no tells there. He genuinely seems to be both a intellectual and emotional midget. So, I mean, that's, so with Soy Lodge, it's fully believable that he's completely mentally disabled. Just no mental functionality. But Craig Like, how many people can stack 11 fallacies in a single statement? I mean, that's impressive. Because if it's true, just mental disability retardation, like, they shouldn't be able to, like, look at Soy Lodge. I mean, he got, what, 5 fallacies maybe? Max? Maybe, I don't know if he hit 7. He hit 5 to 7 max on, like, at one point. But he's usually only committing 1, 2, 3 at a time. Like, it's kind of impressive to be able to stack 11. That's, like, Craig is such an outlier. I think it is a possibility, however slim, that he is some kind of asset actor. Especially, like, how did he rack up that many subs? I mean, maybe he paid for them, or maybe, the algo. I mean, same thing with Soy Lodge, but Soy Lodge is so dumb. Like, why? Maybe Soy Lodge was recruited as a useful idiot, possibly. But with Craig, I'm not willing to remove the possibility from the table that he's acting, just because of how many logical fallacies he's able to utilize at once. I mean, for that to be accidental, I mean, maybe. But if he's that brain dead, because Craig is able to keep more than one concept in mind, even though he's wrong about everything he presents. Like, Soy Lodge isn't able to think utilizing simultaneous variables. Craig is. Even though they're wrong and, everything's wrong, it just, I don't know. It's tough. It's tough. I think I spend way too much time analyzing Flat Earth debate. Oh, man. I actually never thought it would get this deep. But everybody just kept asking for more Flat Earth analysis. And that's the whole thing about logic. It is objective. You can apply it to any subject, whether it's the paranormal, whether it's Flat Earth, whatever. But yeah, the only reason I'm not willing to take acting off the table with Craig is the amount of fallacies in single statements. It's impressive. Like, I've been analyzing debate for a long time in many different subjects. I mean, most people don't use more than 1 to 3. I mean, Craig's hitting double-digit fallacies repeatedly. It wasn't just once. Like, or at least 9, close, either double-digit or extremely close to double-digit fallacies multiple times, sometimes in back-to-back statements. I mean, that is unique. That is unique. I would be curious to hear your response on that, Witsit, because maybe there's a bunch of debates I haven't seen, but from the mental midget that Witsit is usually debating, I mean, they're usually not even capable of using more than a few fallacies at a time. So yeah, Witsit, if you're still here, what do you think about that? And what would you put the average amount of fallacies used per statement in the people you debate? Because I haven't noticed. Witsit says the combination of cognitive dissonance and narcissism effectively render him retarded. Well, unless he's acting, though, because how many other people are able to use that many fallacies in single statement? It's not easy. It's like getting perfect zeros on every single multiple choice test you ever take. It's just, I mean, that's impressive. That's impressive. All right, so let's get to Soy Lodge here. I mean, obviously Craig's narcissism is off the table. I mean, off the charts, but it's still, it doesn't explain, because a lot of people's narcissism is off. I mean, look at Soy Lodge. Look at Harrison Smith, another guy that Witsit debated. Harrison Smith's narcissism is insane. I mean, he was even bringing up his own definition of God, what everything means to him. Like, just no inkling, like, not even a hint of having any desire to comprehend objective reality, only how it affects him. But even Harrison Smith, he's not able to stack fallacies anywhere near what Craig can do.
Really emotional stuff.
I'm not getting really emotional. I don't always get to introduce
the
these concepts to grown adults, so this is fun for me. For me, I sit there and I'm like, how do we know that the Earth is orbiting this, is revolving around the sun? It's like, well,
look at the sky.
It is. It's obvious. The sun sets. We have pictures from space, and you can circumnavigate the globe. Because at the end of the day, like, why would people lie about it? You know, the sun set as it is cannot be explained on a flat Earth model. I didn't get super triggered, Austin. I know the way you guys operate. I'm a historian, and I can grasp this better than you. The Bible does not describe a flat Earth concept.
So here's an example of somebody with just no mental ability. Somebody that's just, I mean, borderline I mean, this is full vegetable status. Like, no comprehension of anything. But notice he's not able to stack double-digit fallacies, though. Like, you have to be, I mean, stacking double-digit fallacies requires to keep more than one variable in mind at a time. Clearly, Soy Lodge is not capable of doing that. I mean, Soy Lodge isn't even capable of doing 5 minutes of research. He went into a debate. I mean, even if it wasn't Austin, let's say it was another flat Earth debater who has debated multiple times. He went into this debate doing practically zero research. I mean, he brought up literally the dumbest arguments possible that were brought up in the first flat Earth debates that are very fallacious, but they're single dimension fallacious. They're not multi-dimensional fallacious like Craig. I mean, I'm not joking when I say Craig has this ability to stack fallacies unlike any other human I have ever witnessed. I mean, I'm not joking about that. That's literal. He's using multi-dimensional thought processes, which that's why he's able to get so many different fallacies in the same statement. Soy Lodge is so one-dimensional. I mean, there's just no mental processing power here. I mean, this is an example of a guy with a mental disability.
Cosmology. It's not hiding God. I'm sick of people like you making a mockery of my faith.
Yes, I'm a Freemason.
That is
but
what
you're the
is.
one claiming that the Bible couldn't even describe what creation was accurately.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
Does it say the Earth's immovable and fixed?
You don't know the context.
Does it say the Earth is stationary?
Who has the religious studies degree here?
You can try and do this thing flat earthers do,
where they pretend to be calm and civil.
How is it that the moon goes in front of the sun?
How is it that the moon goes in front of the sun? Why would that be a problem?
On the flat earth model.
It goes in front of the sun? It just goes in front of it.
When? What's the moon?
You didn't dig this one out.
What's the moon?
What's the moon? The solar eclipse isn't a problem for the flat Earth if it's the moon.
Yes, it is. First of all, you're
if
one of
you
the
don't
few
understand
people...
basic geometry, I guess.
No, I do understand basic geometry, actually.
If I was super cutthroat, I'd say we falsify the radius value. Line of sight microwave transmissions far over the frequency that can be reflected off the ionosphere.
This is why people call you word salad Whitsit.
You'll never rebut that. You can't take me like
There's nothing to rebut, Austin. You didn't say anything.
I mean, imagine the cope. The mental midgetry here. Imagine the cope of having to pretend your opponent didn't say anything. I mean... I wonder what his cope is going to be like in this boxing match. I mean, I don't know. This guy is actually this mentally disabled. I actually wouldn't be surprised if he stepped in the ring with Whitsit. Because, I mean, if he's that much of a brain-dead narcissist, like, I wouldn't be surprised, but after he gets knocked out, he's probably going to say, oh, you didn't hit me. You didn't beat me. But again, there's just a clear difference here in his singular dimensional thinking versus Craig. Jeff Hunt says he already looks punchy. Well, like I pointed out in the soy lodge analysis, we don't know what happened when his mom was pregnant. I mean, we don't know if she drank, used drugs. We don't know if he was dropped on his head many times as a child. We don't have any of this information. So we really, I mean, we're just guessing. We don't have any of this information.
You didn't say anything. You said electrostatic earlier, and you didn't know what you were talking about. I'm done being nice about this. I know more about this than you do. Can you each share what you know concerning I can't pronounce that word. I don't know what that is.
Okay,
you know a bunch of nonsense.
Can you provide one piece of empirical evidence the Earth flies around the sun?
All right, sure. Here we go. Okay, well, this is hard because
you know so much more than I do, man.
This is hard because anything I say, you're gonna point to, you know, some bullshit experiment that you can't actually cite from 40 years ago. So,
I cited all the experiments, and I actually dropped it in the chat.
What Whitsitt says has nothing to do with providing evidence for something. It's hard. So I mean, this guy came to a tank fight with a wet sponge. I mean, that's what happened here. This guy came to a tank fight with a wet sponge. Like, he did zero prep work. I mean, not just on the flat earth positions, but he doesn't know his own positions. So, if he can't provide evidence for anything, I mean, this is weird. I mean, we already went over this in the Soy Lodge analysis, but I mean, this is painful. I mean, look at this poor child's eyes. I mean, what is he emotional? Like 4 years old? I mean, this is abusing the mentally disabled. Austin, you should be ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed of yourself. I mean, this is abusing the mentally disabled.
So
you dropped a whole bunch of stuff into the chat that you knew we didn't have time to read.
I dropped it in a YouTube chat so they can know you're lying about it.
Okay, I'm sure that they can. Sure, whatever. I don't care, Austin. I really don't care.
Entire website that has all the resources.
Oh,
hey, do you have evidence
Eric Dubé's website with his 200 proofs where I debunked every single one of them? Is it that one? Is that one, Austin?
No. Ether cosmology. Do you have evidence the Earth moves around the sun?
I do. All right.
Or is it just a blind belief that you have because you appeal to the authority of scientism and
what's the planet Mercury?
I forgot how painful this was. Do you have any evidence the Earth revolves around the sun? His response is, what is Mercury? Oh man, I mean, this is painful. I mean, this is really painful. He allegedly debunked 200 proofs, but he can't cite a single piece of evidence for the Earth going around this. Not one? Nothing? Not even a summary regurgitation of a scientism text? Not even that? Not even that?
What's the planet Mercury?
What's the planet Mercury?
I asked you for evidence that the Earth moves around the sun.
Socratic dialogue, Austin. Come on, bud. Come on, you can do it. I know you can do it.
You asked me, what is the planet? What's the planet?
I know that for people at a certain intelligence level, it's hard to conceive of hypotheticals.
This is bad.
It is bad, Austin. It's really bad, okay?
You look dumb.
It's called retrograde. I know more about every part of this.
No, you don't. You're an arrogant, sick son of a bitch, and I'm tired of it.
Explain Mercury's perihelion shift.
Excusing you of using word salad.
Can you define word salad?
Yeah, it's when somebody throws a whole bunch of words at people in order to divert the conversation or make it seem that they are more intelligent than they are. What I'm asking you is, why does Mercury traverse that? You're going to arbitrarily define the term word salad? Are you kidding me right now?
An actual definition.
I'm sure it does.
Just because you don't know what the words mean doesn't mean
No, Austin.
Did you know that?
This is called Dunning-Kruger, what you have, okay? This is Dunning-Kruger.
You're projecting that. Actually.
No, I'm not at all.
Did you know that Dunning-Kruger goes both ways?
Why does Mercury traverse the sun?
You didn't even know Dunning-Kruger went both ways. You use it as an insult. All
right, listen up, jackass. Why is it so goddamn hard for you?
I already did.
No, you didn't.
I said that they...
So this goof is saying that Austin's making a mockery of his faith while he's the goof blaspheming. I might do some short compilations of him just blaspheming throughout this entire alleged debate. Boggin says he spiraled for like a week on Twitter after the debate. It was actually longer than a week. He's still spiraling. He was still spiraling and trying to cope after my analysis, after the last part 4, which included this spiral here, this meltdown, because he got tagged on Twitter with the Mindshock a logical analysis of this debate, and he continued to spiral in the comments of the breakdown on Mindshock on the YouTube channel here and on Twitter. It's like he doesn't stop spiraling. Oh, he blasphemes all the time. I mean, this guy makes a mockery of himself and his alleged religion. I mean, think about the mental disability to not think that that somehow the Bible does not support clearly described biblical cosmology of a stationary Earth, a disk with a dome. Because he was melting down over rakia, and I even linked the definition. Like, he's hallucinating that no Hebrew scholars will define rakia as some kind of solid barrier, even though that's clearly what it is in the context of separating the waters above from the waters below.
No, you did.
Can you still man what I said?
You didn't say anything. People think I'm winning, Austin, because not everybody's as dumb as you are. You
never
really
researched
smart.
it. Like
you broke me. You broke me.
Actually, as soon as I brought up that you can't,
just give him the social. Get off my channel.
So
this is pathetic.
My socials are I'm just like you can't
give them your socials and get out of my house.
I'm trying to be cool with you real fast. Like
I'm not Austin. I'm not trying to be cool with you. I don't like you. You guys all think you're smarter than everybody else.
Sorry if I triggered you. Whatever I did, I apologize.
I got sick of the lies. Give them your socials and get off my show. Austin, I'm very excited. I'm glad we did this.
Austin, I've watched you embarrass yourself for 2 hours straight tonight.
I'm aware that I probably look bad right now. I don't care about the theory of relativity as applies to gravity. I have no reason to doubt it. Keeping a conspiracy this big? With nations that are at war with each other? This whole flat earth thing over the last couple of months has taken years off my life.
I mean, imagine being that much of a mental midget. Imagine being that much of a mental midget that you can't discuss something without it taking years off your life. I mean, it's kind of hard not to feel bad for this guy. I mean, Does anybody here not feel bad for this guy? Jeff says, Soy can't imagine it because it would include him being fooled. Yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, the narcissism is off the charts, no question. But it's also the mental deficient, like, he doesn't have the mental capacity to comprehend hypotheticals, as he accurately projected earlier. Walter says, I don't feel bad. Heracles says, Ozian shadow banned me on his channel. I lasted about 10 minutes into a live stream. Walter says, brings it on himself. Yeah, he does bring it on himself, but that still doesn't mean that you don't need to feel bad for him. Because does he have the mental capacity to comprehend what he's bringing on himself? See, I'm not sure he does. I'm not sure he does. Little Star says, where did Soy Boy learn Dunning-Kruger? He might be watching you, Bruce. Well, the next part of my Pretend Society series is going to be going deep into Dunning-Kruger, the full explanation of not only the Dunning-Kruger effect, but how it relates to other psychological factors as well. Earth Goat Tress says, it's obvious to me that this person is possessed or being taken over by an entity, a not-so-intelligent entity that also takes over others. They all sound the same if you closely observe and listen. Okay, this is actually a very interesting topic. I want Austin's take on this as well, what Earth Goat Tress just said, as well as... So there's two things here. Okay, because let's not fall for false dichotomy logical fallacies. Yes, there could be interdimensional mind parasite entities or otherwise, but a lot of these goofs sound the same because they've been indoctrinated with the same scientism dogma. That's what it's not necessarily that entities are taking them over. They have the same cope mechanisms because that's basic psychology of cognitive dissonance and the Dunning-Kruger effect while suffering from narcissism. And again, that's being, you know, when you're part of a participation trophy generation, these goofs like Soy Lodge, they were gaslit into thinking that, you know, all opinions are valid, all opinions are equal, you know, it's your truth, all of these things. When you have gaslighting to this extreme of a degree, you get the same psychological coping mechanisms. And the reason they all sound the same with their arguments is that they went to the curriculum and the indoctrination facilities is all the same. Because they don't teach logic, they don't teach critical thinking or deductive reasoning. So they don't have any tools to actually discern the dogma that they're being fed. So I'm not sure it's the case. I mean, I'm not dismissing any kind of entity, mind parasites or whatever. That might also be at play, but I'm not sure that that's the reason why a lot of these goofs sound the same. Earth Goat Tress says, but the anger is how you can tell. The anger that takes over them and they lose control of their thoughts and bodies. Well, no, that's just emotional midgetry. Like 4-year-olds, they don't have any emotional intelligence or emotional control because they were never disciplined as children. I don't think that's entities. I mean, it could be. Again, let's not fall false dichotomies. That could be a factor, but I don't think that's that's automatically what it is, because these behaviors are common with children that had no discipline. Participation trophy generation children with no discipline. That's why they get mad and triggered. Because they have no other copes. Because they've been exposed as mentally deficient frauds. So obviously they'd get mad about it. Their subconscious recognizes what's going on. This all falls within the normal field of psychology. Earth Go Tress. Again, I'm not dismissing any kind of entity takeovers. In my opinion, I'm not seeing that here, but I know exactly what you're talking about, because there are very strange occurrences, usually with like big time media personalities, where they start glitching and flipping out, etc. I would consider more those types of situations where there could be possible entities involved. Witsit says, I actually tried to give him a way out of the boxing match, but he insists. Well, some people gotta learn the hard way. But here's the thing, I'm not sure he has the mental capacity to learn anything. Even if he gets knocked out, he'll say, it wasn't Austin. He'll say, like, he slipped and knocked himself out or something. Like. But, Witsit, what do you think about, entities like Earth Go Tressens? Not necessarily in the case of Soy Lodge, but in general. Because obviously there's biblical grounding for that as well. Dark forces not of this world, etc.
Off my life.
Ozian, you do realize the statement, quote, space philosophically is something, unquote, is nonsensical, right?
Okay, I guess I'll look up the definition for space.
So space definition.
I accept authority figures that I trust, and I don't see anything that's wrong with that, fundamentally wrong with that at all. Mainstream science, dude. Yeah, I accept it. I have no reason to doubt Mr. Beast.
You don't have to understand the process on how it works.
Regurgitate a religion. I get it. Yeah, most people don't understand the
religion. I
you guys
accept it
have
based upon
so much
testimonials of people that are experts.
Hey, guys, I only have to appeal to gravity. You don't have to substantiate it.
Why would Mr. Beast lie?
I believe in a lot of stuff, Witsit. I believe in something. Just
I know.
I accept the claim is true. That's all.
Anything but God and morals.
You don't need weak. Yeah.
Now, before we get to Zerka here, Witsit says, I think they've just handed their minds over to scientism. I do believe in disembodied spirits and forces that can inhabit and affect people. Yeah, Witsit, you know what would be cool if you wanted to be on a Mindshock to go over topics like that, because I'm not sure anybody's ever logically tried to tackle those kinds of theories. I mean, I've done quite a few podcasts on the supernatural and the paranormal, but it would be interesting to discuss that, not appealing to the Bible. I mean, obviously, using the Bible, using all sources for information, but to non-fallaciously examine topics like that. I don't think anybody's ever done it. But yeah, that Ozian goof, I don't even spend time on guys like that. I mean, that guy, I just don't know what to do with it, because, he's got a speech impediment. I mean, there's no mental processing going on. There's really no reason to even, I don't think I could actually handle an Ozian, breaking down an Ozian debate, just because, the guy's boring. He's not even entertainment. He's not even entertaining in his goofery. Witsid said he's down for that. Yeah, that would be pretty interesting. I would have to prepare some materials for that. I actually did a long-standing series on shadow people. Just so many accounts of that. But in terms of entities taking over somebody's mind and or body, yeah, a logical breakdown on that would be interesting. Rethink Inc. says, Jerry Marzinski is a good person to listen to involving entities. Boggin mentions the Hat Man, yes. Yeah, I don't even know if we really need to even spend time talking about ASEAN, because I mean that's like plain Jane goofery. Like there's not even entertaining. There's nothing entertaining about that type of goofery. Even Soy Lodge is more entertaining than ASEAN.
Bro, we need crusaders. We need people like me. We don't need people like you.
Oh, I'd be on the other side of that war, dude.
Can men get pregnant?
And men get pregnant. People identify that men.
Hey,
Osmond, did you not agree that they're composites? Some are.
And they tell you when they are.
Talk about dildos on the ground. We don't give a fuck about your gay stick. Where the fuck is their curvature? Where?
You can see
Where?
with drone footage, it goes up like on 200.
No. I'm not talking about a fisheye lens where you warping. Are you kidding?
This dude just said you can see the curvature from 200 feet.
You can measure the curvature of the horizon at slightly below 35,000 feet, according to Earth
Are you
science.
seriously locking in 30,000?
Dude, he just
Googled it.
Has Zerka ever debated Craig? I would totally moderate Zerka versus Craig on a one-on-one. Because that would be hilarious. Especially round 4 where fallacies are allowed. Yeah, everybody sleeps on Zerka. Like, I don't know how many drugs this guy's done or in the past. I mean, he's absolutely insane. But his debating prowess is actually quite solid. I mean, obviously, smoking Destiny's no big feat, but... or Sartain in those obliterations. But, yeah, no, he actually... He doesn't fall for that many logical fallacies. Little Star says, I can't see any of Witsit's comment in his chat. So there's two things. You have to change the chat from from top chat to live chat. Otherwise, it won't show all responses. Other than that, he should be showing up. Like, if some people see him, everybody should be able to see him. Because if YouTube is censoring certain comments, nobody's going to be able to see them. Yeah, just make sure you enable live chat all messages visible. Usually by default, it's not enabled. Now, that being said, YouTube still censors a lot of comments and shadow bans. But there's really nothing anybody can do about that in terms of live chat. In the comments under videos, the channel owner can go into the spam and manually allow certain ones, but sometimes YouTube doesn't even let you do that. You know what would be hilarious? Zerka versus Soy Lodge in a boxing match as well, because Zerka's huge, right? What is he, 6'5", 6'6"? With some experience. Earthgoat Tress says, Dr. Jerry Marzinski was partly influential into me observing this pattern of possible entity takeovers in many people. Here's my thoughts on this, too. Like, I'll have to check him out. I don't know, it kind of sounds familiar. I'm not sure if I've seen any of his stuff. It's like staring into the abyss. You stare into the abyss too long, the abyss stares back into you. So, it's a fine line between awareness and then, like, how far are you going to take the awareness? So I don't want to spend, you know, just an insane amount of time studying them. I'm not saying the awareness of them increases the chances of them being able to take you over. I mean, if you're weak-spirited, it might. I don't know. It's a little weird. I will say this, though. The only sleep paralysis I've ever had is back when I was a hardcore atheist, and I hadn't really, I mean, this was quite a long time ago. Once I started, I would say, yeah, once I started studying intelligent design and more of the propaganda, obvious. Yeah, it was before my awareness of Project Bluebeam. So back when I thought that extraterrestrials were not definitely real, but there was more of a chance, you know. I thought the heliocentric globe model. Well, no, I got to rephrase that. I thought the globe model with space. I was still studying geocentrism, so regardless of whether the Earth spun or moved around the sun. But there was this solar system and all of this vast space with other planets with life on them. I was into studying the Drake equation and the possibility of life, SETI, all of that stuff. And that was once I followed the path of, I would say, Project Bluebeam, where there's way more manipulation of all of that stuff, and studied the Bible a lot more. Haven't had a case of sleep paralysis since. Again, I'm not saying anything proves anything. Obviously, this is Mindshock. I do not claim anything is true or untrue. But I am not sure that it's healthy to be looking at some of those things for extended periods of time. But obviously, to not know about them at all. I mean, it's kind of weird because this is more of like a psychology podcast. Tony Robbins, of all people, and the jury is out on that guy. But Tony Robbins actually said something interesting. I forgot where, about older people. So older people who aren't necessarily brainwashed into thinking you have to slow down when you're older. And they're still doing sports. I mean, everybody knows at least like that one person, maybe extended family or friends who knows a guy who knows a guy, not necessarily single degree separation, but just an older guy, 70s, 80s, possibly even 90s, who's still doing all the crazy workouts and the sports and traveling the world. Because in their mind, it wasn't a given that you have to slow down and be unhealthy when you're older. But the people who take that for granted, oh, they're old. Some people in their 40s and 50s, they're like, oh, well, I'm getting old, I'm slowing down, and they basically brainwash themselves into it. So not knowing about certain negative things might possibly prevent them from being able to affect you. Maybe. Now, again, let's not fall for false dichotomies, because sometimes the awareness could be key in avoiding them as well. So, yeah, I don't think it's that clear cut or simple. Obviously, it also depends on what kind of person you are. Joy says, I have only watched an interview of Jerry on other channels. That was enough for me, too.
In
30,000 feet?
We proved the globe and Flat Earth is
You are definitely leaving this debate confident that you won.
That's what's crazy, huh?
How many genders are there?
8 billion people, so I don't care what people call themselves.
I mean, there's an argument by Rudolf Steiner that, like, some people are literally incapable of individuation.
Just some dumb, blind lemming, you know, like an NPC.
An NPC, you know, in like a video game. Like, are you even real? Like, how do we know you're not an NPC, you know?
I don't have an internal monologue.
Start conversations with children by saying something like this.
Is it still hot out there?
Or this.
Did you catch a game last night?
Or this.
Have you tried the lasagna? It's my favorite.
Or this.
Do you like hot fudge sundaes?
I hear that other people have like a constant kind of dialogue and stream in their head, and that when they're doing a task, they'll just be thinking about things the entire time they're doing a task. It actually kind of feels a little overwhelming.
Here's another mind shock for the for the evening. Who's the herd of the theory that your internal monologue isn't really yours? Those are the other entities, not necessarily taking you over, but whispering to you, and your thoughts are not truly your own. You know what's super creepy? I don't know if we've talked about this on Mindshock before. We might have a long time ago. Who's been on maybe an observation deck or on the roof of a high building, and there's a nagging thought in their back of the head, jump. Like, you don't want to jump. You're not suicidal. You have no intention of jumping. But there's a nagging feeling in the back of your mind. It's like a compulsion. And it's does anybody else get that? Because I've gotten that. It's like the higher you are, the more powerful it is. And it disturbed me because I remember those even when I was a child. And they kind of scared me because I had no intention of doing it. I would never do that. But the fact that that feeling was there in the mind, it unsettled me. Joyce says, I call those purpose tremors. You coined that term, or did you hear that somewhere? Little Star says it was worse when I was a child. Yeah. Is that because children are more perceptive to other entities, and the veil is thinner for children? EarthGoTress says, yeah, that's how I noticed it, because I noticed something was wanting me to stomp on a small creature like a rabbit, and I thought that was not my thought. And I thought, WTH is this. I've never got that in terms of harming others or animals, but in terms of for some reason it was jumping. Or actually, a few times, maybe swimming in a lake or at the bottom of the pool, it was like a compulsion to stay down. Now, obviously, not just instinct is so much more powerful that it can overcome that. I mean, I haven't had that in a while either. Harmon says, Mindshock, you are one sick puppy. No, it's definitely not just me. Like, I've read a lot of essays on this. I mean, I don't know if they actually did official polls on what percentage of the population feels this compulsion. You know what's really creepy, though? I remember a video. Who remembers those crazy videos? Maybe it was Fox. I don't remember. In the late 90s, like craziest videos, like caught on tape, whatever. There was a woman who shot her own son in the back of the head at a shooting range. And watching the video, they didn't show the exact moment, but they showed her, like, they were both normal shooting. Apparently they go shooting like every week. And then she just randomly shot him in the back of the head. And I remember thinking, I wonder if that was a weird compulsion that she couldn't overcome. Because the after story was, I mean, this is a perfectly normal family, etc., etc. I mean, this gets crazy, too, because of alcohol. Supposedly, when you drink alcohol, al-ghul, kahul, etymologically, that's the origin of the word ghoul. Alcohol, obviously spirits, when you drink spirits, you are more perceptible to be taken over by spirits. But yeah, no, I like some of those videos where people randomly do things that are so out of character. I wonder if they couldn't resist the compulsion in that moment and it wasn't truly their desire. Flatless says, I get the jump compulsion constantly and I work up on heights regularly. Because you know what's weird? Like, I read this all, I mean, we're getting crazy into Mindshock land, but fear of heights or fear of drowning, some people believe the people with the extreme fears, like they won't even go in the water or they won't even go on anything even remotely high, that's coded in their genetic memory. So their recent ancestors died. And somehow in the cosmic consciousness, genetic, however you want to call it, somehow it becomes what some call an irrational level fear for them. But that's the opposite of having a compulsion to harm yourself, because that would be anti-self-preservation instinct. Boggin says, I read hunters often get the impulse to aim at other hunters. And you know what's crazy? The amount of people out there hunting. You would think there'd be more incidents too, especially like I bring this up in gun control debates. Back in the, even as late as the 80s, and maybe even the early 90s in certain rural areas, they used to have rifle clubs at high schools. Nobody ever shot anybody. It's like weird. So maybe it has to do more with like the sick society of, you know, poisoned air, food, water, cell phone radiation of the recent generation where those compulsions would be greater because the whatever entities can cross the veil more easily on weakened souls and in worse environments. And you know what's scary too, because thinking back on those compulsions, I don't really get them anymore. It's more like, it's weird. It's like I feel that they're still there, but I don't get them. Like they've been weakened to such a point where they're not there. But what did scare me, even when I was a kid, kind of thinking if they were more powerful, would they be irresistible? And I used to read like a lot of ghost stories and paranormal stories of people doing things they didn't want to do. I wonder how that's all related. We got a little off track for this one, for this stream, huh? Oh, yeah, that's true. Zane says compulsion to go left to center in a semi-truck. Yes. While driving, not recently, but yeah, now that you mention it, when I first started driving many years ago on the highway, I didn't get these You know what else is weird? Did anybody get these compulsions driving 5 miles an hour where there wouldn't be any death? I don't remember ever getting that. But my first, I don't know, maybe 20 times on a highway, I did get that compulsion to just weave into oncoming traffic. Like, I didn't want to do it at all, and I would never do it. But there's this weird feeling in the back of the mind. Harmon says, I have such a fear of heights. When I'm on top of a building and people are looking over, I have to get on my stomach and just barely peek over. I cannot stand up right and look over. You know what's weird, too? Another fun Mindshock factoid. Usually don't reveal a lot of personal details. I actually used to cliff dive. And what's weird is when I intentionally wanted to jump off a cliff into water, obviously perfectly safe. Relatively, I don't want to say perfectly safe. Relatively safe. I obviously you always check the body of water you're jumping into, but I mean I only did known dive spots. I never dove anywhere that wasn't an established dive spot. You know, no rocks, you know, no sketchy rocks at the bottom or anything. When I wanted to jump, that compulsion was never there. When I climbed a cliff to intentionally jump, it was the opposite. Like, if it was really high, I'd have to talk myself into it. It was only the natural self-preservation instinct there. I never got any compulsion to jump when I intentionally planned to jump. What does everybody make of this information? Oh, wow, that's really creepy. Truth Troll says, I was prescribed Ambien and Wellbutrin, and after taking the first dose of both, I walked downstairs to get my dad's pistol and couldn't stop myself. I was crying and begged my mother to stop me. She had to tackle me to stop me. Yeah, that's really creepy. And a lot of these situations with MK Ultra and school shooters, I wonder how much of it... You know what would be really creepy? I do have an MK Ultra deep dive coming up. I wonder if MK Ultra is even worse than any of us ever imagined, and there actually is some kind of so-called supernatural influence being messed with within MK Ultra, where these entities or whatever want to cause pain and suffering, and MK Ultra actually utilizes them as part of the program. Wow, that's crazy. Dojo says, Jerry tells a story where he was treating a patient with schizo, and when he tried to make contact with the demon in the patient was told by the demon to shank him. Run Boston Bear says, I had the driving one a few times. Scary for sure. I mean, it's really terrifying. I've never had any ones that were anywhere near strong enough for me to be actually worried in the moment that I would do it. Because especially as a child, for the jump compulsion, I was only... The fear was that the compulsion would be stronger. Because at the current level of the compulsion, it was relatively low. So that's not what was scary. But I was kind of thinking, like, if the compulsion got really bad, that would be kind of scary. If it got really extreme. Earthgoat Tress says, the issue is that being unaware that these things happen, most people think that it's their own mind. Being aware and rebuking them and saying, no, that's not my thought or my intention. Another interesting point, too, like, what percentage of suicides are actually not intentional? And they're results of these weird compulsions that are not from the human. The human that couldn't resist the compulsion. There was actually a TV, I forgot what it was. There was totally an episode of a TV show where they went into this, and it wasn't like a paranormal TV show with demons or spirits or anything like that. Man, I'm having trouble remembering what it was. I think it might have been one of those weird shows like Castle or something like that, where that was part of an episode. They didn't really go into it deeply, but it made me think about that. Shifty Eyes Shady says, that's demons hunting for weakness. Wow. Nominal says, I'm a roofer, and we all know the intrusive compulsion while standing near the edge. You know what's weird, though, Nominal, is that there are people who don't get the compulsion. I don't know if there was a poll or whatever. I mean, I don't get the compulsion anymore, but I remember what it used to be. I still get like a weird little, I would say, I don't know, tingle. Like a compulsion could be coming on, but it doesn't come on. And it's just my memory of the older compulsions. So not everybody gets it, though, which is also what's curious. I mean, again, I don't think there's ever been any actual polls done. So we don't know if it's 50% of the population, 90%. I mean, it's definitely not like 5%. It's way more than that. Because a lot of people, I would say at least half of people, if I had to guess, I would say it's probably at least 50%. But it's not 100%, unless you think people are lying, but again, like, I don't get it anymore, so I don't know what that means. Boggin says, I could get that while downhill skiing, wanting to ski off a cliff. Oh, you know, it's weird. Like, I skied as well in the past, never got it a single time skiing as a child or adult. You know, and that's weird too, right? Because if people are saying that's a natural thing, whatever, why would it only happen during certain activities for certain people at certain times? Dojo said, Jerry practiced psychology, kept the demonic possession of schizos a secret until he retired. No, that's been, I mean, that's exorcism. I mean, that people have a lot of mental illness. There's plenty of theories there are theories that all mental illness is actually a result of demon interference. I really didn't think we would be going here tonight on this stream, but I don't know what reminded me. Oh, because of these people being possessed, whatever I got. Boggin says, there are people that put sharpened sticks where people dive. How sick is that? Where people cliff dive? I've never heard of that. That's crazy. That's insane. That makes me really not want to be the... well, because I'm trying to remember. I don't recall if I've ever dove anywhere where I didn't swim first where I would be landing. Even though other people were diving. Yeah, I mean, I can't remember ever not checking out. I mean, I didn't check it out. I mean, I didn't, you know, look at the very bottom, but I wasn't gonna hit the bottom, but... Dojo says this topic opens up a whole can of worms. It does indeed, doesn't it? We're gonna have to do a follow-up on this one. Boggin says, what's up with the fact that some people can get hypnotized, others... Okay, that's definitely its own episode. That is... I've actually read quite a bit about that. I've never been hypnotized. Somebody brought that up in the chat before, how they used to do this at middle schools and high schools, as if it was part of some kind of widespread MKUltra experiment. I will be doing an entire episode on that. That's definitely its own episode. Yeah, you know, Dojo says, in the interview, the kid was crying and saying his parents were good people. He kept saying, get the voice out of my head, and was in great pain. Yeah, you know what's weird? Like, a lot of serial killers and all these, like, they have voice, they're saying they have literal voices in their head. What if they're not lying? What if those voices are not their voices, and so-called mental illness is not simply contained to their own mind? There's other entities at play. Truth Troll says, I believe MKUltra is that indeed the splitting of minds being different entities. You know what also is kind of interesting? People, I need to do a full podcast on the Ananurbe as well, the so-called paranormal branch of Nazi research. It was also their most funded. It was their most funded division. And they did a whole bunch of stuff with channeling mediums, going to Tibet, Antarctica, South America, I mean, who knows what they were doing. The more I read about that, the more I'm kind of thinking, what if stargates are real? Like portals? Certain places in the world, and that's why they were going there and researching all this. EarthGoTress says, yeah, the thoughts come out of nowhere to divert you from doing what you actually want and intend to do. If you want to get really let's get less crazy, actually. Who's had those thoughts where they remember thinking, like, either about a family member, a friend, or a coworker, just thinking something like, I don't like you. Like, I don't like this person. I hate this person. Like, just a feeling of dislike, and then you take a moment to reflect, and you're like, well, I don't really dislike them. Why did I have that thought? Not that you have to, you know, like them and them being a good friend, but why did you have a thought that wasn't really your thought? Even if it was innocuous. Like, let's not talk about jumping off of heights or swerving into traffic. Like, little innocuous thoughts like that. Those are creepy. I used to get those a lot, too. And some of them are so innocuous that you don't really notice. I wonder if that's some kind of, like, entities training you to slowly increase the negativity or something, where they start really slow, so it's hard to notice. Harmon says, my wife was on that Ambien, and coming off of it, she said she'd get crazy flashes and that she just wanted to jump out of a tower. She worked in a high spot. Dojo says, 100% I suspect that all the psyop on us is to open up demonic possession. EarthGoTress says, probably most suicides because I get those same thoughts, but I notice that they are not mine. Because if our creator wanted me gone, I would have been gone, and I didn't need to do it myself. Run Boston Bear says, this convo made me think of the viral video Hi Ren. Have you seen it? He did that music video live, and it's one like, I don't know. I don't know if I want to see it now. Shifty Eyes Shady says, those spirits don't have me anymore, just started day 10. You talking about being sober from alcohol? Congrats. I've actually never drank alcohol, so I don't think alcohol is a requirement for this. I think a lot of it could be, you know, HARP, could be other frequencies, cell frequencies, plenty of documentation and even patents on mind manipulation via frequencies, like Wi-Fi, all of that. I mean, who knows, also geoengineering, spraying chemical, like, there's just so many avenues. I mean, obviously you don't want to add to it, you don't want to, you know, but... Witsit says, suicidal compulsions have happened to many people I know after they have taken psychedelics. Yeah, I don't think it's coincidental. I think in thinning the veil, so to speak, between worlds, you open yourself up to other entities' manipulation because, again, everybody has a natural instinct to survive that's coded in your genes. So it just seems like it would be... It just seems so unnatural that you would have your own suicidal tendencies. Wow, that's really creepy in a different way. I'm a little behind in the comments. If you guys could just pause the comments for a little bit, I kind of want to get to all of them. If everybody could just, like, hold on for just a minute, I'm going to catch up here. Jeff says, had a buddy that would go unconscious drunk and a new guy came in like a light switch. I've seen that before too. That's really creepy. Or what about even multiple personality disorder? What if that's not really multiple personality disorder? What if those are literally different entities? We're opening up so many cans of worms tonight. And quite a few people having multiple conversations here. Can be a little hard to keep up with all of them. Boggin says, yeah, it's definitely gone away with age. After 25, 30, I haven't had it. Maybe the driving one. Yeah, that is kind of weird. That is kind of... Because I definitely remember it more when I was younger. Do you still feel something? Like, not the compulsion itself, but something. Because, like, at heights, I still feel like a weird... It's almost... I don't know if the memory is accurate. It almost feels like the feeling I would... Like, the feeling right before the compulsion would come on. But then the compulsion no longer comes on. But that feeling is still there. Almost the same thing with driving on a highway, too. I do not get the compulsion to swerve into traffic anymore. But it's almost like there was a feeling that came on before the compulsion. And I will occasionally get a little bit of that feeling, but no compulsion. You know what's interesting? Ambien, some related words to Ambien. Ambient. Going all around. Ambience, environmental surroundings. Ambiance, atmosphere, mood, character, quality, tone. Going around. Going around. Encircling. I wonder if it kind of means, like, the... Yeah, I don't know. I just keep going back to the thinning of the veil or whatever between worlds. And a lot of these drugs do that to your mind. Shifty Eyes Shady, no alcohol 10 days. Congrats. Don't need that. Dojo says, why do demons possess us? It's because they're souls that have lost the ability to create a body for themselves, and they need to possess us in order to live. Very dark, yeah. Boggin says, we definitely need an exorcism episode. Yeah, I don't really like the energy of watching those videos. I've seen them. I've even seen a documentary that was quite convincing, because back when I was an atheist, like, I didn't believe in any of that stuff. I mean, I believed in aliens and well, the possibility of aliens, the possibility of Bigfoot and cryptids, but I did not cross over into... I mean, I don't even know what I thought about ghosts, but I definitely did not do any demon crossover, so... But there was one documentary that was... I don't want to say it was convincing, but it was creepy. EarthGo Tress says, it would be cool to see you tackle Dr. Marvinsky's work and get your thoughts on it. All that you are speaking of is what has been documented for years. Yeah. Nominal says, I thought that everyone had the two angels on the shoulder phenomena. I wonder where that's from. I don't think I want to go down that rabbit hole right now. Witsit says, the chemical imbalance theory of mental illness is purely theoretical pseudoscience, so it wouldn't surprise me if it's actually spiritual. Well, I actually think it might be both. Because, like, what if the chemical imbalance is what weakens someone's soul? Because if your body is your temple, the temple gets a lot of cracks in it. I mean, both could be true. I think that's actually the case for a lot. Like, within scientism, some of it crosses over into real science, but that doesn't preclude spiritual explanations as well. Joy says, thou wilt keep him in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on thee. Isaiah 26:3. Fixing our minds on God is a remedy, a peace, a comfort. EarthGo Tress says, all humans are natural channelers, and the more compassionate and loving someone is, the more you can channel, even unintentionally. Yes. Also a topic for another podcast. Boggin says, the whole serotonin thing is all BS. Yeah, I'm not sure it's BS. I think it might be related, but let's not get into the false cosmological fallacy. I think it might be related, but obviously that doesn't mean it's not spiritual, because if even something like being malnutritioned could open the door to other entities and mental illness. Harmon says, I think all pharmaceutical medicine is black magic. They used to be called mad scientists, now they're called doctors. Well, what does doctor mean? To make fraudulent? Man, can you guys slow down for just one more minute? I'm almost caught up. Just give me another minute. No more comments for a minute, and then you can make them again. Sigma asks, you never drank alcohol, Bruce? No, I don't do alcohol, my friend. You think this logical mind could be this logical if it was ever impaired by any kind of brain-impairing liquid? EarthGoat Tress says, yeah, those entities are very sneaky, but once you notice them, that's the beginning of they have no control over you. You know what is weird, though, EarthGoat Tress? I would say, even though I didn't necessarily believe the Bible, and I'm still not claiming it's true or untrue, I wonder, I don't remember exactly when I started studying the Bible more deeply. I wonder if there is a correlation there on the compulsions stopping. I mean, there's also some truth in whatever you resist persists. I mean, that's a troubling saying. There's also a very interesting book, because it kind of goes both ways. There's a book, Outwitting the Devil, The Secret to Freedom and Success. I'll probably put a summary up that on the Mindshock channel. I do book summaries on here as well. It was written in 1938 by Napoleon Hill. And Napoleon Hill is, of course, the very famous author of Think and Grow Rich, which is one of the seminal books on success. But in Outwitting the Devil, it's actually very interesting because it's almost like spiritual in nature. Because awareness of entities can strengthen your ability to resist them, but at the same time, they always have access to your thoughts. That's why meditation is so important, and not thinking anything, because when you have thoughts to succeed, maybe it's not all self-sabotage. Obviously, there are people who have issues with self-sabotage. What if it's demons sabotaging you or other entities, because they can always read your thoughts? And outwitting the devil is kind of like having tricky thoughts where you just do things and accomplish things without thinking about them. So that way any kind of negative entities cannot read your mind, because there's literally no thoughts in your mind to read. And that's an interesting can of worms to open up, because in a lot of spiritual practices, meditation and breathing exercises are viewed as of the utmost importance. Oh, Boggin says 432 verse 440, music change is a real thing. Yeah, I'm going to go into that. The Schumann resonances and all that stuff. I have an episode on that coming up. Heracles says, I think removing the bells and creating more atheists hasn't helped, and does not seem to have helped now. Okay, you're getting really creepy, Dojo. Doing the numbers, it's 1 in 16 people we meet are actually demons. The 500 million demons of the Georgia Guidestones act like a hive that allows them to pull the wool over our eyes. Alright, we're getting into some really creepy territory here, Dojo. Truth Troll says, I understand that, I believe that too, sorcery. Okay, I'm gonna go with, see, the word sorcery, is that simply using energy from the source? So, I'm not sure sorcery by default is bad. So, like anything, it could be good or bad. White magic, black magic, gray magic, whatever. Because shaman literally means wise man. Shaman. Wisdom. That's really creepy. Should I bring it up now? I brought this up before. There's a short story that is so creepy. One of the creepiest ones I've ever read. It's called, I believe it's called The Perfect Soul. And I believe it's by the same author who did that. Let me see if I remember the name of it. It was the Drizzt fantasy novels R.A. Salvatore. Or R.A. Salvatore, or Torre. He had a short story, The Perfect Soul, which was so disturbing. Oh wait, was that not his? Oh, okay. Or did he do a retelling? So it was Hugo. Yeah, he retold the story. It was Hugo Mann's Perfect Soul. It's one of the creepiest, and it basically, I mean, I don't even really want to go into it here, but it's kind of like how many people have full souls that you deal with. So I'm not sure, like, again, let's not fall for false dichotomies. 1 in 16 people you meet are demons. Are they really demons, or are they just simply demon affected? Sarah says, when I was younger, I had a recurring dream of a black shadow figure standing at the foot of my bed. It scared me really bad. I would wake up in a panic every time. Miranda says, I have waking dreams and sleep paralysis. Yeah, I also read sleep paralysis is actually nutrition related as well. With proper hydration and nutrition, because I haven't had that in a really long time, but my diet was not that great when I did have it. I had it a couple times a long time ago. Justin Johnson says, try skydiving, it's awesome. Oh, Earthgoat Tress says, I think the compulsion to do those things may be good for self-preservation in emergencies. So it's good that they're not completely gone. Are you see, here's the thing, though. I'm not sure about that. So in an emergency, I'm trying to think of how many emergency situations I've been in. I don't think any required me to jump off a cliff. But again, like I told you, when I would be intentionally cliff jumping, that compulsion was never there. It was the opposite. I had to overcome the self-preservation instinct. That compulsion wasn't even there a little bit. Not even any kind of tingle or feeling before the compulsion that I still occasionally get. I see what you're saying, though, where I'm not sure that's related, though, because I think in the moment with adrenaline, you're not going to rely on any compulsion. You're just going to do what needs to be done, and it's not going to be because of a weird feeling in the back of the brain. There won't be time for it. I don't know if I've told this story on Mindshock. I might have once. I was in a city one time, and I was about to cross a street, and I just got a weird feeling, completely different feeling. This was not a compulsion. It was just a feeling. It wasn't like a voice or a tingle in the brain. It almost like it wasn't even in my head. It was more of like, it's kind of hard to explain. It wasn't like a thought process. And it just told me don't cross. Like, it was kind of like a feeling not to cross the street. I didn't know why. So then I just stood there like an idiot on the sidewalk, and maybe like 5 seconds later, there was a car accident in the intersection. I don't know if I've told that story before. So it was completely different. It wasn't a tingle in the brain. It was almost just like a sense of things that wasn't in my head, if that makes sense. Okay, Jeff Hunt breaking out another can of worms here. Wow. You can store feelings and cycles using a point in space, like a cabin on a certain time exactly a year later. Same for spirits. Miranda says, lucid dreaming is horrifying to me. I haven't had lucid dreams in a while. Dojo says, yeah, it's better to stay away from watching horror and supernatural type content as it does encourage demonic possession to Catch-22. Okay, I'm going to push back a little there. Here's what I think about that. If you think it could be real, I agree with you. If you don't think it could be real and you're watching it, let's say for comedy purposes, like I watch some of the Friday the 13th movies type now, then yes. But when I was younger, I watched a lot more, and I wasn't, I guess you could call it, I was more brainwashed into scientism and all that when I was a lot younger. So yes, I would agree with you in that situation. I mean, it kind of depends on what you think is or isn't possible and your level of exploitation. Although, again, I'm not saying that the purpose of those movies, I mean, it could be shady. I did a whole podcast on horror movies and that possibility. But for example, it doesn't affect me now, but it did affect me probably more when I was younger. Erin Mavernine, few messages retracted. Let me know if you want to rephrase whatever you were saying. Justin Johnson says, Mindshock, thank you for being you. Your logic is quite refreshing in these troubling times. Thanks for the support, sir, and all the people in the chat. I mean, like, some people think I'm, you know, as a tax, they're saying you only have, like, less than 40,000 subs. I actually never thought there would be this many people interested in logic. Just because you don't meet that many people in real life that actually care about logic. And I'm not sure about the whole demon thing. I think, let's say that 1 in 16 number, I think it might be more plausible that they might be entity affected, not that they're not a real person, because even people that, let's say, are mentally gone, I've seen people like that 5 years later. They've had either near-death experiences, whatever, and they're completely different, and they're real people. They've even started employing logic and reason, and they're completely different than what they were. So I'm not sure about, like, the they live type scenario. I mean, maybe some of the, you know, in the reptilian conspiracy, maybe some politicians or influential figures might literally be those entities. Again, I don't claim anything is true or untrue. But out of all the people, average people walking on the street, I mean, even if the majority of them might be possibly entity affected in a parasite type fashion, I don't know, just knowing so many random people and over years on how much they can change, if they were truly full-on demons, I'm not sure that would be possible. Man, can you guys slow down for another minute? I'm really trying to get to all the comments here, because they're so interesting. I want to get to all of them, but I'm always behind. If you guys can just stop commenting, just give me another minute, maybe 2 minutes. Stop commenting for 2 minutes, and then we'll get right back to it. Erin Mavernine says, my consciousness, I observed it calmly for a few seconds, then it disappeared. I had wondered why people say that demons look like clowns. I have a clown. I think it's too coincidental that clown is basically phonetically clone. Send in the clowns, send in the clones, clown clones. What? There's something weird there. And obviously, I think everybody gets weird feelings regarding clowns, mostly negative. And the whole circus clown thing for entertainment and fun, and especially for kids at birthday parties, it's almost like it's a weird type of grooming to accept clowns as being fun and entertaining, when it might just be like the trickster spirits or something. The previous comment from Aaron was, I'm a Christian, went to a job interview at a military facility. That doesn't sound congruent. During the interview, I looked down briefly, my mind wandered. Instantly what I took to be a demon entered my consciousness. I observed it calmly for a few seconds, Then it disappeared. I wondered why people say that demons look like clowns. Little Star says parasites are tied to entities as well. You know what's weird? Para means to ward off, or defense or protection against. It can also mean from Greek origin alongside beyond, altered, contrary, irregular, abnormal. And sight, S-I-G-H-T or S-I-T-E. Place or position occupied by something. To give location to. So something beside you to give location to? That's kind of weird. Sight with a G-H-T, perception or apprehension by means of the eyes. And of course, eyes, I is a person, I-E-Y-I, and then just the letter I. Sight to bring into view as well. Yeah, I mean, a lot of these names, very, very curious. Probably all coincidental. Earth Goat Tress dropping another bomb here. If they can read your thoughts, it means you can read their thoughts. That's why they don't want you to notice. Yeah, that's really creepy. Dojo says, the devil does not tempt you if you don't have anything he wants. That's why success opens you up to temptation, because now you can fall from a greater height. I'm not 100% sure about that either, because there's a lot of people in poverty or even homeless people that seem to be... I don't know if you're talking about this or something different, but they seem to be possessed and engage in evil acts and kill a lot of negativity because, you know, I don't know. I don't know if that's what you meant exactly, but... Oh yeah, Lord Zed bringing up Jinn, G-I-N, and also the Jinn, D-G-I-N-N, or J-I-N-N, the other demons and spirits, etc. Truth Troll says, sorcery using chemicals and so-called medication to supposedly do good but causes harm instead. Earthgo Tress says, a demon is just an unbalanced entity which is extremely polarized, and there is nothing to fear if you know yourself. To know yourself is to be made whole. Interesting. A lot of these old sayings, man. Really interesting. Grant's Pants says, Bruce, you need to reach out to Sam Tripoli and be a guest on his podcast. You guys touch on all the same things. Call me crazy. Sam Tripoli, I don't know. He's been kind of, obviously everybody's been called the shill. I don't know. I think Eddie Bravo is pretty cool. I know Eddie Bravo's on his show a lot. But, yeah, I just don't know enough about Sam Tripoli. Dojo says, the 1 in 16 is demon affected. They're not demons per se. I have to ask the question, are they all in on it? If the answer is yes, then how? That is why I think about the possession thing. Miranda says, I've been diagnosed with an eating disorder a time or two, so sometimes I lack nutrients, so yeah, that's probably why I have sleep paralysis. Yeah, try really upping the hydration and, yeah, smoothies. Vegetable, fruit smoothies. Just, yeah, I mean, I haven't really had any issues since getting serious about a good diet. Back in the day, Bruce was pretty, I don't want to say I was ever a normie, but I had normie tendencies back in the day. Dojo says, I think all demons act as a hive and coordinate their efforts to get to high places. It's how they form their primitive power to affect their agenda on the realm. Very possible. EarthGo Tress says, Mindshock, thanks for figuring out the compulsion versus feeling thing. It makes sense what you said more than what I wrote. I definitely don't know it all. No, I mean, these comments are awesome, though, because they, you know, we can have actual discussion here, and not to fall for false dichotomies. I mean, many of these things can be in play at the same time. A lot of these variables can be true at the same time, or neither could be true. That's the value of logic. Nominal said, I tried the astral projection years ago. It was real enough to make me not do it again. I don't know if it's bad, but it definitely felt unnatural. I've always had a weird aversion to even trying that. I don't know why. I'm not, it's not that I get the feeling that it's bad. It's just a feeling not to do it. If that makes sense. Perhaps that just means, because if anybody can do it, I mean, maybe some people just aren't ready yet. I don't know. Jeff says, wherever you store a memory will be based in one emotion. Recall it in the same. I write them to recall them. Lord Zed says, look for your hands or a clock when you are dreaming. Joyce says, I avoid horror genre. I can do M. Night Shyamalan type thrill suspense. That's about my limit. Okay, I definitely need to do an M. Night Shyamalan series because there's something really weird about his movies. I'm not going to get into that here, but I'm not saying he's channeling, but there's something really weird, abnormally weird about all of his movies. I did not quite catch up to chat yet, Justin. One more minute. Almost there. Anthony at ECF says, Mindshock, when you speak of logic, you have no idea just how rare that is in existence. It is exactly what I've been looking for as a community. It is very rare, yes. Lord Zed says, dude, clown and clone is crazy. It's too close for comfort. I forget which Q&A. I think it was a Q&A where we were really getting into etymology, and I brought that up. Man, it's so close. I just don't like it. I do not like it how those are basically the same word. Boggin says, some people find clowns look scary AF. I think there is something there, actually. Yeah, I have a big podcast coming on that. EarthGo Tress says some societies, mostly Native Americans in the Southwest, consider the clown sacred. The sacred clown Heihoka, which teaches through making a fool out of him or herself. Yeah, I wonder how much of the root of that is some kind of psyopted, co-opted manipulation, bastardization of whatever original truth was, like intentional. Like some kind of deception in and of itself. Uh-oh, Witsit's really opening cans of worms here. Have you heard about the red night vision goggles used in Vietnam? Daisianin Dai? Pretty wild stories of soldiers going mad after seeing spiritual entities? Yes. There's quite a few stories, not just in Vietnam, about that. I have an episode coming up on that as well. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess They Live was based on that. Somebody was selling them on eBay, right? Or their own store, and then they got shut down. There's a whole lore about this. I remember reading about it a long time ago on the internet. Little Star says, very hard to find those goggles now. Yeah, supposedly there's somewhere you could still get them, but they might not be authentic. Ready Geezer 1 here, not familiar with those stories. Lord Zed says, Sam is not a shill. I'll die on that hill, bro. He's a great man. Again, I don't know the guy. Thanks for the super chat, Anthony at ECF Logic Rocks. May Abba bless this channel. Shifty Eye Shady says, some doors aren't meant to be opened. Why I tell people never to mess with Ouija boards or magic. Yeah, you know what's kind of crazy? I have never... Yeah, it's weird. It's not that I ever thought it was real. That's the thing. Like, I never thought those boards were real, but I never wanted to play them. To play with them. I'm almost caught up there. It's okay, Lord Zed. I'm almost caught up with the chat now. Okay, just about there. Jeff Hunt says, Fly Me to the Moon is begging to be reviewed. Okay. Oh, the miniseries V. Yeah, the revelation of the method, predictive programming. Okay, I'm caught up. You guys can resume the chat. We do have to finish this video, so let's just finish the video, and then we'll chat a little bit, and then we'll wrap up.
I think that helps, knowing how other people think. You can kind of react better and maybe expect less.
Try asking a question, answer in a sentence or two. Making friendly conversations like this, you say, we're glad you're here.
That's absolute and fixed. Can both of those things be true?
Yeah, depends how you look at it, I suppose.
Oh my goodness.
No one likes to be wrong, especially ignorant people. No one wants to figure out that their understanding of the world is flawed or foolish. That's why narrow-minded people display an unrelenting loyalty to their opinion.
I'm not making arguments. I don't know. I mean, like, certainly not logical ones. I mean,
what clip this, man?
You're coping. Do you know what coping is?
I mean, perhaps not the way you're talking about it.
Think about it. If there's an idea and then you're convincing yourself that idea is not true, don't you think it's pretty ridiculous that in order to do that, you have to misrepresent the actual idea so you can make it more ridiculous? You think this is science and you've used the word 50 times. You don't know what it is. It can't be verified. You automatically default hand your brain over to the idea of other experts, and you've yet to even research and understand what it is that you believe. How do you not see a problem with that?
Armed with an unhealthy bias of illusory superiority, these low-ability people cannot objectively evaluate their own mental shortcomings. In other words, they are too stupid to know how stupid they are.
Are you vaccinated?
Yeah, obviously. I'm like, hold on. I'm like 3 boosters in. Some of the boosters, I love them. I'm going to take them all forever now.
They're all NPCs and you can say whatever you want to them.
There's actually some people you literally just have 0% chance of getting through to. Right? Like they're gone, bro.
Yeah, so thank you everybody for realizing that the default position is that the Earth is stationary topographical
default
plane,
position
and
is the Earth is rotating. And
a negative result.
You can't just declare something to be the default.
I'll declare the same thing.
So dishonest when they assert that flat Earth is the default. That is completely an asinine position. Completely. To be honest, in a debate, as a globe proponent, I don't have the burden.
The default position is the globe.
The world doesn't appear to be moving. Doesn't that really mean the burden of proof is on you to prove? Because it's counterintuitive, so wouldn't you have to convince me that the world is moving?
I think it's intuitive to me that the Earth is rotating. I have my intuitive version of the world
that thinks that the Earth is rotating and spherical.
Okay, so you want to dig a hole straight through the center of the Earth?
Yeah.
What if I should fall right through the center and come out the other side where people walk upside down? Oh, but that's silly.
Yeah, okay, so you move, once you get towards the center, and you go past the center, then down is the other direction. Yep.
So down becomes up.
No, it's still down.
There is no up or down.
Down is everywhere then. Down is everywhere in your model.
Nobody is upside down. That's one of the dumbest things you morons say.
You reach the center, right, Toon?
Yeah, you keep going. Yep.
Keep going.
Yep.
And then what happens?
And then the direction of down is now the opposite of what it used to be.
Intrinsic down direction caused by the gravitational pull of Earth.
So down became up. You can't say it, huh?
Is this geometry?
Right?
Is this geometry beyond you, S.E. Montreal? Are you really that difficult? Is it hard for you to understand?
You can't bring yourself
seriously
to say it, right?
Middle school geometry, and you seem confused by it. No wonder.
I know it's ridiculous. That's why you don't want to say.
I don't know. I feel bad for this guy. I mean, this guy, look at his eyes. I mean, just the shame in the eyes for having to do this. It's almost like he's forced to have to do these debates and read from the script. Earthgoat Tress saying logic has its use, but the highest intelligence comes from the human heart. And many studies show this from the heart. Math Institute mostly. Yeah, there's actually, I forget the origin of this saying. We've covered so many topics, but truth cannot be known, it can only be felt. And that your true emotions are the link to the cosmic consciousness, the source, the universe, whatever. But the problem is that you get manipulated, so those emotions are not natural, they are entity manipulated, so to speak. Not even necessarily by, like, paranormal entities, by other people just messing with you. So are your emotions even your real emotions? But obviously, if they are, that would be the measurement of truth. But, I mean, logic, you have to find what is or isn't valid, right? And that's what, because how do you know anything? I did a whole podcast on epistemology. You guys can check that out as well.
You don't understand it. No, down is still down.
What's the difference? What's down on a globe?
Now down is the other direction. This is not difficult.
Which is what?
Essie, this is not a challenging thought experiment. But for some reason, you really struggle with it. Why do you struggle with it so much,
Why can't you say it, bro? Why can't you say it?
I just said it. Why is it so hard for you? We're on to the next thing here. I'm asking, why do you struggle with this simple topic so much?
Up on a ball. There is no up on a ball.
You can't say it.
Why would I?
Can't say it.
Yeah, down is not up. Down is always down.
down is always down. Except until it's up.
Well, when you're on the other side of the center of gravity, it's a different direction.
If they can make you believe absurdities, they can make you commit atrocities.
Yeah, horizontal, which means level with the...
Horizontal doesn't mean level with a curve. Horizontal means horizontal.
The whole thing about they don't understand level. And I've explained it to them over and over for like 20 minutes.
Classic Fleur thing of always confusing level with flat.
True level is the curve of the Earth.
Level just means as close to the center of the Earth as possible.
Level literally means a curved surface.
So saying water is level actually matches the globe's prediction. Thank you very much.
In fact, there is never occasions when water is flat. Water is always curved.
I've never seen level water. I've never seen a flat earther show me level water, ever. I don't know if I've ever seen a perfectly still lake. I've literally never seen flat water.
Wait, who is this guy? I have no idea who this guy is. He's never heard of sea level? I mean, I don't know who this guy is. Lord Zed says, Tom Cruise's life definitely got stolen. What a waste. I have an extensive Tom Cruise podcast coming up. I mean, it's kind of tough, though. I mean, is he still inspiring people, though? Like, in his old age, doing his own stunts, if that's all legit? I mean, that's kind of inspiring for older people, right? Heracles says, that is Will Duffy, the founder of the Final Experiment. Okay. Yeah, I actually didn't even, Okay, so he's the the funder. So wait, is he the one who initially suggested it, or is he the one that's just funding it, providing the money? Yeah, I don't know much about the Final Experiment, except that, I mean, I mentioned it once on a previous podcast, like, there's a lot that needs to be verified before anything can be proven in Antarctica. Justin Johnson says, I think they are masked actors nonetheless. You mean like everybody? Like all mainstream personalities? Little Star says, remember when the ocean is literal glass? Well, there's a difference between sea level and waves not existing. Okay. Lord Zed says, Bruce, you're going to break the internet if you do a L. Ron Hubbard Scientology cruise deep dive, but it's going to be tough. There's a lot there. I'm actually going to be doing the Tom Cruise deep dive, so it's going to have some Scientology in it, but it's not going to be a Scientology deep dive, because there's some curiosity about Cruise's initial rise to fame that nobody talks about, including a lost interview he did on the radio that I remember hearing, and I just can't find it, where he kind of admitted to doing certain things on the street. Witsit Gets It says, a couple weeks ago I asked McToon why he behaves this way, and he told me my hobby is to follow your every step and expose you. I love it. I don't know. It sounds like he's kind of been put up to this, because when you look at his face, see, if Craig had said that, I might believe it. Whether maybe he's acting, maybe he's not. With McToon, it looks like he's being forced to be involved in this, just from his facial expression and his eyes. It looks like he's just being forced to do all of this against his will, and he has this deep shame about it, but he can't stop doing it. Render Reason says, have our population woken up? Are we now discussing the old world buildings, the topographical plane, and the fact that this world has a creator? You know, it's kind of weird. People have been discussing facets of that for a very long time, but yeah, I would guess more and more people are discussing it. Joyce says, McToon may be getting compensation from somewhere, someone. I think it's very possible, and he's just not, I don't think he's a good enough actor, because he's got shame and reluctance written all over his face. Like, pretty much all the time. His smiles are all forced. His laughter is all forced. I'm not sure Craig's laughter is forced. Witsit Gets It says, it's pretty funny you were saying that because that's actually my wife's opinion. Are you talking about McToon? There's like a little bit of lag on the chat, but McToon looks so miserable and unhappy in all of the videos. Again, I'm not saying his family got kidnapped and he's being forced to do this, but if that were the case, are those the types of expressions we would see on his face? Boggin says, I think it's the same with Bob the Science Guy. Witsit says, yes, she's convinced McToon is hired and or forced to do this. I mean, out of all the anti-Flat Earth grifters, he'd probably be my top pick. And again, Craig is just such an anomaly. I'm just not willing to dismiss the possibility that he's a brilliant actor. I don't know.
Level means flat. You don't have measurements of. Or sorry, level means
you
curve.
just said level means flat, bro.
Water's flat. Water's not flat. Sorry.
You just said it.
Level means curve.
You slip there, McJones?
You don't.
You know what we haven't talked enough about are the Freudian slips. All of these anti-Flat Earth grifters seem to have a lot of Freudian slips, don't they? Are we gonna ignore all that?
Don't have.
And then they'd turn around and go, yeah, but level means flat. Even though I've just spent 20 minutes taking them through that level can be curved.
Gravity is a container.
I heard of fucking gravity!
And we have to appeal to gravity. You don't have to substantiate it.
Gravity itself is the container. You know, I mean, it just is what it is.
Earth requires gravity for any of this stuff to work.
Gravity!
Gravity is the answer to so many of the questions. What is this? What is it? It's gravity. And they're like, ooh, gravity.
Gravity, roll refraction, you know? And you just go in circles because they don't understand. The answer is gravity, and then they laugh at you because you said gravity.
Refraction. It's not like we're just pulling some rabbit out of our ass.
It's not just explained away.
Like, we know what refraction does.
Yeah, refraction can do that. Refraction can do anything. Well, no, that's wrong. It's refraction. If there's ever an observation that couldn't be explained with refraction, there'd be a problem.
Like, it's just so dishonest.
This is so dishonest. Oh,
yeah.
I also think a lot of McToon's aggression could be him just taking out his anger. It could just be McToon taking out his anger at being forced to do this on the people he's debating with and talking to. Because he's unnecessarily aggressive and insulting, and again, like Witsit said with all of the slander, is that him just taking out all of his aggression at being forced to do this on other people? Because he can't take it out on those that are forcing him to do this. Earthgoat Tressman, I hope you show up for way more podcasts. I'm really enjoying all your comments in the chat here. You're opening up so much cans of worms, and this is Mindshock because we're going with all of them. It's possible that if you ask them why are you doing this, they might actually be forced to tell you the truth according to some sort of universal law. Okay, have you seen the Reptilian Conspiracy podcast series here on Mindshock? I did 2 parts with David Icke. On the radio show, like a radio host actually asked, I forgot who it was, but they asked him, it was somebody famous, I just really can't remember right now. It wasn't Donald Rumsfeld, was it? It was like some super famous political person. He flat out asked him, are you a reptilian alien shapeshifter or something? The guy would not answer. He would not say no. So, I don't know if there's some kind of universal law, kind of like vampires not being able to enter your home without an invitation. Are they not able to lie if asked a very specific, direct question? Whitsit says, McToon sent me a hand-carved W. Is that for Whitsit, or is that for Win in the arguments? And a cap his wife knitted as gifts when we were expecting our first child. It had a letter that basically said this was friendly sport and that he respected me. I wonder if his handlers knew about that, if he has handlers, and if he's being forced to do this. Again, I don't claim anything is true or untrue. I find his micro expressions not the same as pretty much all these other people. Earthgoat Tress says, I did watch your reptilian video, yes, with Rumsfeld, and this may be where I got the idea from, thanks. Yeah, no. This is an idea that is... Whitsit, what do you think about this? I know Whitsit studies the Bible a lot, too, which is interesting, just because of how much overlap there is with all of these other texts and evidence. Again, I'm not saying it's conclusive evidence of anything in any way or that other evidence is, but is there some law of the universe where these entities cannot lie when asked specific direct questions? Boggin, maybe I'll do a clip of it. It's in the first, I believe it's the first episode of the Reptilian series with that I did here on Mindshock. Oh, Heracles says it was Louis C.K. on the Opie and Anthony show. Who was the guy that we're asking? Was it Rumsfeld? It was some big time politician type guy. Whitsit says, I think so, yes. What do you think? Do you think there's some kind of universal law? Because you know what else is kind of weird? So, because supposedly, so heaven is like God's realm, and the earth is Satan's domain. I forget the exact verse on that. Let's see if I can find it. So is this 2 Corinthians 4:4? Ephesians 2:2 and John 12:31 and 1 John 5:19. The whole world is under the control of the evil one. Yeah, I mean, there... philosophies... Okay. Oh, I mean, there's... Okay, so... Some people believe this is Satan's season and its dominion over Earth, and that it's not exactly his domain, but it's currently his domain. So, yeah, I mean, it's tough, but is there a universal law where, regardless of what kind of entities they are, they cannot explicitly lie? So that's why there's all this subconscious manipulation all the time. Oh, wow. Yeah. That was it, Goat Tress. Yes. C.K. Lewis was asking Rumsfeld if he ate people. He would not answer. But when asked if he had ever shot anyone, he immediately said no. Wasn't it a longer question, like if he was a reptilian that ate people or something like that? I thought there was reptilian involved in that interview. Because why would I... Otherwise, I don't think I would have included that in that episode. Yeah, that was the series. Joyce asked, is that the series where you showed celebrity faces and they morphed into reptilian-looking creatures, especially their eyes? Yes. Whitsit, do you have any thoughts on entities not being able to lie when asked a direct, explicit question? Heracles says, yes, they can use semantics, but not lie. Because if God gave man free will, they can't violate the will against the consent. So they have to use subconscious manipulation, symbolism, etc.
I just don't understand. You're out of your league. Come on, Austin.
You are.
Stop patting yourself on the back. Stop puffing up your chest. Show some evidence.
Wait, watch. This is what he couldn't. If you ask
He can't.
him, like,
He
what
can't
would,
even. I'm so much
can't let me
smarter than
talk.
him.
You're
I'm
freaking
Austin.
out.
I'm so smart. You're out of my league, everybody. I'm
Why are
way
you
smarter
freaking
than
out?
everybody. Because Austin, that's what you do constantly. If you
No,
spend
I don't
half
think I'm
your time
smarter than everybody.
Yeah, you do.
I don't even think you're stupid. I just think that dishonesty
renders a person's position stupid.
Not everybody can be a robot polisher.
Well, the demon behind your eyes. You need to be more careful on live streams. MC2 Live, your first mistake in explaining up and down was asking a flurf to think. I'm good enough. I'm smart enough. And doggone it, people like me. Anyway, to just desperately deny such an obvious thing it really gives them the stink of desperation, doesn't it?
Somewhere in his brain, I think that he thinks he understands it. And that's the crazy thing.
He knows just enough word salad to make it right.
No, absolutely. So they think he's right because he can say this word salad too much.
I'm interested in debating the things that science figured out hundreds of years ago. They're all insufferably frustrating. The amount of projection is off the charts, absolutely off the charts. I mean, and again, it's just full on projecting all of their shortcomings, while being in full denial.
The mental hoops and the gymnastics that the flat earthers have to run through in their own mind to still be right to themselves is crazy.
Well, these totally on point regarding the projection. Like, these anti-flat earth grifters are definitely champions of projection. Oh, wow. Dojo was just about to just reminded me of something I was going to say that's related to the Antarctica Atlantis Blood Waterfall podcast we did a week or two ago, whenever that was. Okay, let's try to finish this up here, but a lot of other interesting thoughts here. If we could pause the comments for just maybe 30 seconds so I can catch up. Witsit says, I think they are not allowed to lie directly. They have to deceive via omission or revelation of the method, in my opinion. I mean, it seems consistent with what, everything we're seeing, especially with all the Illuminati symbolism and everything. Little Star asks, what happens if they lie? That's a good question. I wonder if they're just not able to, or if there's an actual major consequence. Joyce says, 2 Corinthians 2:2, Satan, God of this world, meaning he rules the world. However, it is all within God's permission, control, allowance. Satan is a created being. God is the only self-existent being. Yeah, it's a little unclear in some of the wording whether this realm is Satan's domain as Earth, or if it's his only under his dominion, his control during this particular time. Yeah. Lou M says, invite Witsit into the stream for a Rockstar shift. Or a Rockstar shift. Yeah. Well, we're gonna do one where we're gonna go over a lot of this stuff. I'm sure Witsit's probably a little bit bored talking about Flat Earth with mental midgets all the time. Witsit says, I think there is a requirement to gain consent. Why? Yeah, I mean, it seems like there is. Because otherwise, why does everything look this way? Boggin says, they lie about the globe constantly. Well, that's a little different because they're not lying about who they are. Right? I mean, that's a little different. Lord said they made up the can't lie. That's interesting. That is pretty interesting. But then why? I mean, it seems like there's a whole lot of effort into that, right? Because if you just look at, the history of all the Illuminati symbolism and everything, I mean, that's a lot of energy. If that's a lie, there's so much invested in that. Lou M says it would make sense that they follow the same principles under karmic law. Yeah, I mean, yeah, let's think about it. Like, let's say there's a war going on. There's a bad guy and a good guy. But and there's whatever weapons they have. They can't, like, magically invent other weapons, right? Like, if they're subject to the, like, say the laws of physics on the battlefield, whatever they are, like, they're the bad guys and they can do bad things, but it does kind of make sense that whatever the laws of the universe are, that's what they are. Now, Dojo opened up another can of worms here. I think the dollar bill is the embodiment of that consent. Every time we spend it, we consent to the way the world is. I'm going to get back to that in a second. Earthgoat Tress says, I don't mean to put him on the spot, but from what Witsit wrote, he asked an entity a specific question, and he got a very clear, direct answer to what the entity's goals and plans were. Brilliant. Lord Zed said, they eat babies, they don't follow the same principles. I wonder, yeah, so, okay, what's the consent involved there? And did they get humans to do their bidding so other humans, so entities that are not them can violate, because a human can violate another human's consent. So did a human violate the other human's consent for them, and they took the fruit of that labor? Of that evil labor. I mean, I don't know. I'm just theorizing here. Little Star says, right, it's just a weird thought I had. I can lie if I want, but I don't want to because it causes problems. Funny they are scared to lie. Yeah, I wonder if that has something to do with whatever energy transference there is. Whereas it wouldn't work the same way if they didn't have consent. Ah, Witsit with a very interesting thought here. I think a violation of consent opens the door for divine intervention. That could be an entire podcast on its own. I mean, that is interesting. Because throughout history, if we take, some of these accounts of whatever divine intervention or whatever was called divine intervention, that's pretty interesting. That's really interesting, Witsit. Justin says, the truth is the weapon. It will destroy our enemy and set you free. Jeff says, could the barrier be AI? Earthgo Tress says, it has something to do with free will. If they are being controlled, they have no free will to lie. Aaron says, it's legal. Adam gave up ownership of the earth. Jesus won the earth back, being both man and God. The book with seals is the title deed for the earth as I understand it. That is a very interesting way to put it. Dojo says, yeah, we don't want divine war to break out if there's an invention. It would create havoc here on earth if there were divine intervention. Lord Zed says, can't lie, the oldest trick in the book, joking, kinda. I'm caught up now, Anthony. It's okay. You guys can keep talking. You don't need to pause. I caught up here. Jeff says things changed with the Noahide law. Aaron says Jesus is just waiting to take possession of the earth. Render reason Mindshock, can you help us dig into how to get sovereignty back? Witsit and I will work on that. We might need more than just my brain power for that. But yes, the truth will set you free is an interesting saying for a reason. So, like, again, without logic, I mean, I could do a podcast on neural similar cells being in the heart and the brain as well. They're not the exact same brain cells, but people were talking about that. And then, of course, if the heart is not really muscular pumping in nature, but electric, I mean, that opens the door to a lot of things. But yeah, I mean, if people can't even think logically or critically, then they could be exploited and tricked. So, knowledge of both logic and psychology is pretty critical to that. Okay, regarding the dollar sign, final mind shock of the evening. Who was here for the Atlantis Antarctica blood waterfall live stream? So we talked about the Pillars of Hercules. The Pillars of Hercules, beyond which Atlantis lies. Now, pillars would have narrow bases, usually man-made structures, so it doesn't really match the Straits of Gibraltar. Anthony says that could be one of your catchphrases. Okay, folks, pause the chat and then watch millions of people chatting come to a complete halt. Aaron says, I saw the red falls. Wait, you were in Antarctica? Or did you see them elsewhere? Okay, final mind shock of the evening. Who knows the origin of the dollar sign? Supposedly, the dollar sign was derived from the image of the Pillars of Hercules stamped with a scroll on the Spanish piece of 8. So what's curious is there's actually not even a definitive explanation on that, which is curious. So, and anta, A-N-T-A, possibly with an H, is Sanskrit to encircle or surround, which is curious. So, again, I wonder, if the dollar enslaves us all, and Antarctica is some kind of circle around the Earth enclosing us. I mean, paradise means enclosed park in French, right? Something like that. Is it all part of the trap? I mean, what is the level of coincidence for the dollar sign to be the Pillars of Hercules, beyond which Atlantis lies? Is Antarctica Atlantis, or is Atlantis beyond the circle of Antarctica, which encircles or surrounds? Then you have the North Pole Magnetic Center. Yes, our known world, Justin Johnson. Who knows what is beyond what is known? Because that's the unknown. Aaron says, brass snake on the pole in the nose. Yes, it also could be similar to the double helix DNA and the serpent and the staff as well. I mean, yeah, the dollar sign's pretty crazy. Also related to Pharmakos, I mean, the medical symbol as well. I mean, it's all kind of, I mean, the level of coincidence here. We opened up too many cans of worms here. I gotta end this up. This is getting kind of late. So, alright, another great stream, everybody. We'll be back for more, plenty more to come on a variety of topics. Hope everybody enjoyed another edition of the Mindshock podcast. If you want to help support the podcast, you can donate to our PayPal. Just check the link in the description. You can also support the channel by becoming a YouTube member right here on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share. Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, Patreon. Questions, comments, theories, thoughts, suggestions, rebuttals, debunkings of any kind, leave them in the comment section. This is Bruce McGuire signing off. Catch you guys next time.